Time. Lost. Times. Darkness.
The time is
13
o'clock.
Hey everybody, it's Saturday.
Yeah, we're back.
And look, Sophie's in the comments.
Yeah,
She's
Sophie's
not
in
here
comment
anymore.
section now.
She flew home yesterday.
And then I got Miss Pookie Pants back here trying to fucking tear the shit up.
I know,
Stop
the
it,
second
Pookie.
we start recording, she's just like...
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Acting
know,
crazy.
the video I'm going to show of her in the middle was just like 4 minutes of her trying to chew on everything.
Yeah.
She's trying to like chew on all the fucking cords and shit like that on my computer.
Let me move this over here. You're always moving that in front of me. Okay.
Well, yeah, because I don't want it to fall off the edge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We just
You
don't.
can still kind of hear me.
We don't have like this all sorted out, obviously. I just don't have any fucking room for shit.
There we go. Yeah, I wish we could fucking back this camera up like another foot.
I can't because there's a wall there.
Yeah. That would solve a lot of problems.
It would, yeah. Michael Schaefer says, "Am I the only one having trouble hearing?" You shouldn't, because, I mean, I can turn the mic up, but I don't know if that'll be too loud. Is that any better?
Yeah, sound check, everybody. What's the sound like?
Yeah, because I didn't change anything.
Yeah.
And actually, it's weird because when we were here before, like last time we recorded the show, like when I did the audio version, it was like really, really loud.
They're saying it's good.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I turned it up a little bit.
All right.
That's
Today's
why.
going to be a fun show. It's going to be kind of a variety show of a bunch of weird shit that's on the internet over the years.
Yeah, like mostly creepy YouTube videos, but like whatever. Because I told him, it's like, look, I have a few classics that I want to talk about that I thought had like interesting or creepy stories behind them. But I was like, if you come up with anything or you've seen anything on YouTube that is creepy, or if anybody in the comments has anything that they've seen on YouTube that's creepy and they want to suggest anything, you can do that too. And we can just talk about that.
There used to be a shit ton of like fake ghost videos on there.
There's still a ton of I got one that actually, it's probably fake. I mean, obviously fake, but I thought it was really well done, actually. It's a Japanese one.
I think they got rid of most of them. I mean, it used to be that you couldn't even do any research because it was just nothing but just thousands and thousands of the same fakes over and over again.
Yeah.
They had one guy that was like faking poltergeist activity in his house, fucking strings and wires, pulling objects.
Yeah, I saw that one multiple times.
He's getting pretty complicated with it, but having seen the real phenomenon, I was like, no, that's not it. You could tell.
I've seen some kind of like more subtle ones, which I thought were better. Like I saw one earlier today that looked like it looked like a mall food court, I want to say. And it was just like there were people in the background, and I guess it was a security camera, or it was supposed to look like a security camera. And then like in the foreground was an empty table, but somebody had like left all their shit on it, like all their trash. And like one of the napkins went like whoosh, like off the table, and then like one of the chairs like moved out like that.
Yeah.
And then
you could do that with string though.
Well, yeah, I know that, but I'm just saying that if you're gonna fake it, I think it's better to do a fake one that's more subtle like that, because to me that seems more realistic. I mean, because we've seen the one, and everyone's probably seen it, but that one like famous poltergeist one where it's just like a still camera and it's like in a kitchen or dining room, and it's just like there's fucking shit flying everywhere. It's like the cabinets are opening, and like the fucking spoons are all coming out of the drawer and shit. I'm like, just tone it down a little bit. It's like no one's gonna buy that being real, all that shit happening.
There was only one of them like that I saw one time that did kind of make me think it was real. A drawer opened up and a bunch of individual silverware started flying out, and there was some, there was phenomena in the house. Nobody lived in the house, or they'd fled the house, and then you could see the camera itself started to shake and make a lot of static.
Yeah.
And it was an old, mid-90s video camera. And it was some parapsychology department of some university somewhere was doing it. It was pretty weird. And they got a photograph of a weird shadow going down a hallway. When it got to the damn door, at the end of the hallway, the door opened.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
It was weird.
Well, like I said, I'm sure like 99.999% of those are fake, but it's, if you're going to fake it, at least make it like kind of realistic. I think
the thing about it is that the shadow went down that one side of the hallway. They couldn't figure out how that was cast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it didn't seem like it would be possible from the light sources that were around.
Yeah.
Unless it was done by up near the bulb itself. But it was daytime. It was weird. It was a weird one. And I've only found that one a couple times on YouTube. It disappears easily because it has different names and it gets moved to the bottom because people don't know the history behind it. I saw it on that program Sightings a long time ago in the 90s.
Yeah.
They had a little episode on it.
Well, the problem too is that, I mean, there's so many of those on YouTube, and there's so many channels that do like creepiest videos on YouTube, like lists and stuff. So it's like they get like reposted so many times, like you said, with different names, and it's like, so it was kind of hard. Like I wanted to talk about like some of the sort of like classic creepy videos that come up like on a lot of people's lists and shit, but I was trying to look for some different ones too. And it's like, it's really hard to find them just because there's so many that are, not that good, or, it's just hard to dig through because there's so many. And especially like ones that are hauntings or poltergeists or shit like that. And
Michael Schaefer said, if you hear that, girls, if you're going to fake it, make it sound real. That's a good one.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. If you're going to make like a poltergeist or a ghost, like make it as realistic as possible. You can't go too over the top with the shit. Otherwise, it's very clearly fake.
Sandra said the only poltergeist story she heard that sounded real was mine. And I'm going to tell you, mine was real. But there are some other ones that I've read. And some of the ones, or a lot of the ones in the book that Jenny wrote, Unseen Hand, a lot of those sound real to me. But I would say the best one to go to is if it's probably out of print, but it's called Enfield Poltergeist. That's a good book. It's called This House is Haunted. I have it here.
I don't think it's out of print anymore. It was for a while, but I think that they did like another reprinting of it when The Conjuring 2 came out, because I think that was loosely based on it. Yeah,
it's called This House is Haunted by Guy Lyon Playfair. And that's what I saw. Exactly what's described in that book right there. But there's a couple of the witnesses claimed to see things that really they were the only ones that claimed to see that. And some of the stuff was kind of iffy. Like, the voices that came out of her, that could be explained by poltergeist, not in a different way. I think that was her subconscious mind doing that.
Yeah.
Kind of like Tourette's syndrome. It was doing it. But, it's still overall, I think the stuff that Guy saw and the stuff that, what was his name? The other parapsychologist. Morris Gross. The stuff that they saw, you could probably pretty much take that to the bank. And the cops saw it, and newspaper reporters saw it. Just little things like bricks flying around, Lego bricks flying around, objects being thrown, and it came from an area where there was nobody standing there, just furniture being pushed up against a door. It was a lot like mine. A lot like it. But that one lasted a lot longer.
Yeah.
It was, 18 months?
Yeah, I think it was 18 months.
Yeah.
I saw a couple of YouTube videos, too, that actually, like I said, they were probably fake, but they actually looked good in the sense that they were taken supposedly by security cameras, and they were like in offices, so there'd be like all these like rows of desks and chairs and stuff, and then there'd be nobody there, and then all of a sudden like the chair would come out, and like there'd be a little pile of paper, and it would go like like off the desk and stuff like that. So I even though those are probably fake too, like I said, I kind of like those better. Those are creepier to me.
Yeah, because a security guard could set that up.
Well, yeah.
And then erase his the video of him going in there and setting it up. Then another guy's pulling on fishing line on low res fucking video. Like,
you can't see it.
It disappears.
So that's what I mean. Like, most of the poltergeist videos, if not all the poltergeist videos that are on YouTube, I think are probably that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Either, because I feel like, and it's not necessarily people necessarily trying to fake it. It might be somebody doing like an ARG or a web series.
Based on my observations, and you've seen it too, how do you catch something that fast and so spontaneous on video? You have to have a camera ready, and it only does it every once in a while. And it seems like it can't move something that you're directly looking at.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just sitting there, and all of a sudden something comes out of into your field of vision, moving. And you can't figure out where,
I feel
where it
like
came from.
it's kind of like the movie Paranormal Activity, where your backstory is that we had some paranormal activity that we didn't film, but then we set up cameras all over this. They'd be running all the time, so we could catch what was going on. Because then that way you have plausible deniability. See?
I think if you set up cameras in my poltergeist house over there in either at Lois's house or at Mammoth, it would do things behind the camera.
Yeah.
I mean, it actively foiled whatever you were trying to do to catch it. It just did things when it
poltergeists are
wanted.
dicks like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of had a feeling that if you were looking right at it, it made it so it couldn't move it, or you know what I mean. It probably has something to do with quantum physics.
Yeah.
You know, what's his name? Fucking had a good theory on that. Not Pembrose, but the other guy, Roger Pembrose and
Penrose.
Yeah, I don't know the guy's name. What's his name? What's that guy's name? Roger what?
Stuart Hameroff.
Stuart Hameroff is what I was talking
and
about.
Roger
Yeah.
Penrose. Was
Penrose, yeah. That's what I said.
No, you said Pembrose with a B.
Look at her. Isn't that something? I'm drinking. Okay.
You only just started drinking.
But
you have to be technically correct because that's the best kind of correct.
Okay, whatever. That's what I got you for. That's what I got you for.
Well, yeah, that's what I was doing.
That's what I got you
I was correcting you.
Okay. Right. So let's see what everybody's saying.
Yeah. Sandra says, I believe your story, Tom, because I know you. You're crazy, but you're no windbag and not stupid.
Yeah. They're talking about the Enfield case. Alex said eat the good miss. Talking about Bun. Talking about Sophie.
Yeah, Zach says, Sophie's gone. She's in the comments, though.
Zach saying what's
she
up,
went
bitches.
home yesterday.
Zach's on his way to a party.
Mirror Spock is judging me. He's judging all of us, I think. You want to do some shout-outs?
Yep.
Just have a couple.
Hiccuping.
Holy crap, already. We're only like 10 minutes into, 20 minutes into the show.
I know.
Obviously, you're already finished.
It's going to be a good show.
He's going to be like, blah, at the end of it.
It's going to be a good show.
He actually
Friday night. No, Saturday night. Yesterday was Friday.
You don't know what day it is. Seriously, we only just started drinking, you guys. We haven't been drinking all day, I promise.
Yeah.
This is literally my first drink right here. I got
I
pineapple.
poured that shit, though.
I got pineapple juice today.
I poured that shit, so you better watch out.
Well, I'm not the one that forgot what day it was, am I?
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Well, I remember what day it was after I forgot.
I always remember things after I forget it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
we
just got a couple of shout outs. Wanted to give a big shout out to Ken, who sent us some really, really cool presents, you guys. Okay, so he sent me this for like a late birthday present. He sent us the H.H. Holmes also for him. But look at that.
It's a cell.
It's a cell from Willy Wonka.
Yeah. Piece from one of the films.
Oh my god, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I gotta
nice.
undo that and hang it up on the wall.
Sent me 2 little pops.
And then we got 2 little pop figures. Yeah. One of which is, look at Alice Cooper.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other one is
Lemmy Kilmister.
I love this one.
Yeah,
look
from
at
Motherhead.
little Lemmy. He's got a little cigarette and everything.
Yeah.
I love
Poor
it.
Lemmy died not too long ago.
I know, everyone does.
Died of cancer. Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Yep.
What are you gonna do?
I'll put them up there with the Billy Idol.
Yeah, we just wanted to keep them by here so we could show them on the show. And also want to give a shout out to our newest patron, Logan. Hey there.
What's up?
And also our previous patron, Justin, has also increased his support this week. So thank you very much, you guys. Y'all are super awesome. Yeah. Everybody says Yoda is bloody watching me. Ilse Lansdale was asking about the indoor rain dude. That was Don Decker. The Rain Man. Yeah,
Don Decker. Don Decker, I believe that story because, well, too many prison guards, too many, warden, they saw the phenomenon. That's poltergeist. People think poltergeist is some kind of outside phenomenon. And the poltergeist focus who's generating it thinks it's an outside phenomenon too. Although Deckard is the only guy that I've heard of that realized that it was a part of him that was doing it, and he actually could will it into action, was able to control it to make it rain out of nowhere indoors. Weird shit. And the cops said that fucking balls of water would form in midair and then go sideways across the room. He could will a water droplet to hit the warden while he was in his office fucking hundreds of yards down the dam on the other side of the building. He could just cause water to condense at an amazing rate. And what else could he do? That was about it. He would see visions.
Well, he could also, I think he moved, like, pots and pans and shit. And,
that's
like,
right. He could move some things.
Yeah.
He also lifted himself off the ground and beat
like,
himself
threw
up.
himself, yeah.
Yeah, and then threw himself to the floor in front of about 3 witnesses. He also could do it outside of a familiar area. He did it a little bit in a restaurant in front of a bunch of witnesses. And he could do it in prison when he went back to prison. That's a wild case, man, and I believe it. There's just too many damn witnesses.
Well, that's like one of the weirdest poltergeist cases ever. It's like, it's that one and the one about that old couple in Atlanta that had all the blood in their house and they couldn't figure out where it came from. He was
unique, because he could say, "I'm going to make it rain." I had the power to make it rain. He was using it as like an evil superpower. I tried to get the poltergeist to move an object by will, and it stopped the whole event. Yeah, didn't come back till years later. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of matured into things like out-of-body experiences, like astral projection. Also kind of like dreaming true, having weird feelings that certain things would happen, weird synchronicities, seeing people and recognizing them as being important before I knew who they were. Just weird stuff like that. That's what it is now. It moved a few objects. Jenny saw it, in recent history, but it's just not as good as it was.
Yeah.
It used to be a lot more impressive. But I used to get more scared of it. And I think you have to be scared of it.
You was a scared.
Yeah, you had to be scared of it. Being scared of it fuels it.
Well, yeah, because, once you get old and jaded,
yeah,
your emotions aren't as, like, up there.
You're right. I think hormones may have something to do with it, too.
Yeah.
Hormonal intensity.
I read a paper about that once a while back.
Lots of emotion and stuff.
Yeah. That they thought maybe something had to do with some kind of chemical reaction during people's puberty and stuff. I don't think that's necessarily the case because, I've seen some kind of believable poltergeist cases that didn't have adolescents involved.
Yeah.
But, probably like 80-90% of them
based on what happened to me in my research and just looking at the cases I believe, what I think it is the emotional volatility in a kid that is very disciplined and can hold it in. So you're kind of like, you have it corked up, like in a bottle.
Yeah.
And then you get hit with frustration. And this thing kind of lashes out. The subconscious kind of lashes out using some kind of a quantum energy or something. And it can move objects. It does weird things in the environment. And it can do it faster than you can think about it. And it can do it in rooms that you're not looking in. So there's another part of us in another dimension that has a bigger awareness of what's going on. Something that's not local to you. You know what I mean? It's more like in a general vicinity.
Yeah. Because
it was down there moving objects in other rooms, and I couldn't see those rooms. But it would stack things up,
Yeah.
So that's pretty weird.
Roger said it's powered by PMS.
Yeah, that'd work.
Thank you so. Y'all should start making it rain for this show.
Yeah.
You were really, really good at segues. You know what I mean? I'm not good at that.
I can't make it rain.
Oh, hey Ken, we already showed your presents.
Yeah.
So thank you for those.
Thanks, Ken. I'm gonna put them up there with the other rock stars. See what's going on.
Yeah. Zach says, I like to call it editable male syndrome. Alrighty. Alright, so you want to start talking about some creepy videos?
Yeah, I'm just listening to what they're saying about what story. Ilse's talking about some story. I don't know what he's talking about.
She said something about a friend of hers that was in like a really abusive relationship, and she said like all the teacups and shit started flying around.
Okay, so he could do it in a bit too? Yeah.
Or she could do it.
Or she could do it. Yeah, and I noticed that it's I think intelligence has something to do with it. You can't be so dumb that you can't imagine it happening, but you can't be so smart that you could talk yourself out of the possibility of it happening. I think you have to be of average intelligence to slightly above, or to average intelligence, probably slightly above intelligence to exceptional intelligence, but none of this genius stuff. I don't think they can do it. I think they're too firmly planted in the ground. You know what I mean? They would say, no, that's impossible. So it wouldn't happen.
Well, and plus people who are really smart tend to overthink everything.
Overthinking everything,
and I think that overthinking is like kind of anathema to that type
Right.
of thing, because you have to kind of be able to like let yourself go, and I think a lot of really smart people
There wasn't any thinking involved. It was
Yeah.
just reacting, and a bunch of emotion. And and it seems to be that you have to have some kind of belief in the possibility of a paranormal. If you don't have that belief in it, you probably won't do it. You'll probably prevent yourself from doing it. What's weird is how people react to it when they see it and they don't believe in the paranormal. They panic and they run. You never see them again.
Yeah.
They don't even want to talk about it after that. So it upsets people that are really firmly grounded in reality, because it shatters their presuppositions about the universe. That but I think it's something. I think it's just It's paranormal, but I don't think it's supernatural. It's something kind of like electricity.
Yeah.
Electricity used to be paranormal at one time. They used to think that was some magical shit, that you could bring fucking bodies back to life with it or whatever. It came from the heavens. It made light before there was light bulbs, so it seemed to be supernatural.
Yeah,
it was a paranormal force.
and that's completely
right.
Understandable why people would think that.
This is the same thing like that. It's just something science hasn't discovered yet. It's going to be something in the realm of like quantum consciousness. It's going to be like that.
Yeah.
Based on what I saw. You've seen it too. How do you explain that shit?
Yeah.
You just can't really explain it.
Yeah.
Right.
Stop Propaganda just mentioned Local 58. I was actually going to talk about that a little bit, because I only just like started watching that today. That's like it's like not really an ARG, it's like a web series. And it's really, really well done. It's like super creepy. So yeah, I was like watching some of that today as well. So I would like recommend people watch that if they like creepy ARGs or creepy web series that look like realistic and shit like that.
Before I get off this subject though, I wanted to complete what I was thinking. I kind of think that what I'm talking about, what we call poltergeist phenomenon, there's probably a very good chance that highly advanced extraterrestrials kind of use that kind of stuff in their science. They probably know all about it. Probably doesn't shock them at all. For all we know, they build machines that can do that.
Yeah.
But, it's just a part of, it's some kind of facet of that we haven't scientifically figured out yet. Something theoretical.
Yeah.
Some scientist somewhere fucking might have a theory that can explain it, but it's not going to be recognized yet.
Yeah.
And then how do you build a tool or a machine to test it? It's going to be pretty fucking tough.
Yeah.
Fourth
Throwdown says, have you seen the YouTube video about the woman who married Michael Jackson's ghost? I heard about it, but I haven't seen it yet.
I'm trying to think about this. I think we mentioned this before.
We might have.
You marry a motherfucker's ghost. How do you prove that you're married, and does he owe you money?
Well, you don't have to. That's kind of like...
If you divorce him, does he owe you money?
Yes.
He
well,
does?
that would be like the whole...
Okay.
Well, that would be the whole thing behind the scheme, I would think. Right? Mm-hmm. Because...
You marry Michael Jackson, and then you say that he broke up with you, and then you sue him in the afterlife. And then you make his lawyer give you some of that estate.
Yeah.
That's how I play it.
It's like, well, they can't prove that I didn't.
Right. And then your lawyer's
I don't think that's how it works.
up and down that,
that's not how it works. Ilse says, yikes, of all the ghosts she could marry, why him, right? It's like,
They got some freaky-ass women out there that get transfixed with these weird dudes, even up to and including serial killers.
I was just going to say, I just discovered a creepy YouTube channel. I don't know if it's there anymore. It might have been taken down. But it was this girl named Lynn Ann, or this woman, rather. And she was, like, super obsessed with one of the Columbine shooters, Eric Harris or whatever. She had, like, a mug with his face on it, like a pillow and all this. She was, like, super fucking weird. There's
a channel called Razor Fist. You guys might want to check it out. He does a lot of metal reviews and commentaries. I think he's a good show host. But he had a whole series on Michael Jackson. Okay? And he's a Michael Jackson fan. He's a heavy metal fucking guy, but classic heavy metal, but he loves Michael Jackson too.
Yeah.
And he was swearing up and down that Michael Jackson was set up by those people for that pedophile case. And he had me believing it. Against all better judgments, I started to kind of believe. I don't
know. It's like I wasn't there, and it's like some of his behavior is so creepy. But then, on the other hand, he had mental problems, and it's like I don't know. I don't really know where I fall on that.
Evidently, the people that made the complaint against him, and I think there was more than one family, but those two families, like, evidently had a long history of making complaints against other people about that kind of shit, and that it may have been, and that really what it was. Razorfist thought that maybe he did have predilection towards that way, but he wasn't really acting on it. It was something kind of like just a part of his personality. And that there were people out there that fucking saw him for what he was and were going to try to sucker him in and get some of that money.
Yeah, I mean,
that
that's
he was
when you're
right for
that
it.
rich and that famous. I
Yeah.
mean, I imagine you're gonna get like a certain amount of people like.
He was evidently ripe to be framed.
Yeah.
But that the persons that made the accusation, that a lot of the shit that they claimed turned out not to be true, and they had a kind of a history of making fucking complaints against people that weren't supported by fact. So, I don't know. I had to go back and look at it again. It's been several years since I saw it.
Yeah, like
He
I said,
may-
I don't know enough about it to.
He may have been a little funny, you know what I'm talking about? He might have been one of those P words. But I think the ones that were leveling charges...
pirate?
Yeah, one of them pedophiles. But I think the people that leveled the claims, leveled the charges at him were kind of bogus.
Yeah.
You know?
Although, like you said, he did kind of leave himself open to that
Yeah,
kind of thing,
he was
just
left himself
because he
wide
liked to hang out.
When
with
you
other
have
boys.
when you have a fucking whole Ferris wheel and a train in your backyard, when you have an amusement park in your backyard with a bunch of little bronze Peter Pan statues everywhere of all these little skinny pretty white boys drinking out of the water and shit, you know what I mean, and all like little gnomes and fucking, you know, some shit's up. That's a little spooky, don't you think?
It is a little spooky.
You know, I'm not the kind. I would never have dozens of these little white boy statues daintily drinking out of the water. You know, with their little shorts on and like little Peter Pans everywhere. You know, it's little fairies and stuff. You know, just little 10-year-old boys everywhere. This shit's fucking suspicious, don't you think?
It is. That's what I'm saying. He left himself open.
It's
to
just
it.
very fucking suspicious.
It is suspicious.
Because you would think, you know, he was what, in his 30s? He was in his 40s when he died.
Or 50s. I think.
In his 50s, yeah, very early 50s. But spent all that time, just him and all these little boys, right? And during his 20s and 30s, you know, he was on his own. If you had that kind of money, you should have a palace filled with strippers in your 20s and 30s. You know what I mean?
You would think.
A single man in his 20s and 30s with that much money, he's just going to fucking run wild. He's going to have a whole mansion filled with strippers and pool girls and fucking, you know what I'm talking about? That's what it's really going to be.
Well, yeah, you would just hire women to like lay there and
To lay on your pool.
so you can do coke off.
You'd
their
have a
butts.
whole crew of porn stars just show up.
Yeah.
But you have them on the clock. That's what they do. Until they get sick of it. But, you know. Get out of my house! All right.
Oh shit. Yeah. All right. So can we get to the topic now?
Yeah, we can get to the topic. Yeah. I've warmed them up.
All right. So like I said, this is a very freewheeling type of show, very freewheeling topic. This was the topic that most of the patrons voted on. I think this wasn't even close. It was like the vast majority of votes were for this. So we're going to talk about some creepy YouTube videos. And I just kind of picked random ones that I thought had kind of interesting stories behind them. Some of them are kind of classic. Some of them are maybe less well known. And of course, if Tom thinks of anything too, he can throw in as he usually does. So the first one I want to talk about, this is one, I don't know if I'd call it like the granddaddy of like creepy YouTube videos, but it's definitely up there. I mean, any self-respecting top 10 list of creepiest YouTube videos ever is probably going to have this one on it. And this is the classic, I Feel Fantastic. Now this video was actually first uploaded in 2009. Now the name of the user was Creepyblog. As far as I am aware, Creepyblog never uploaded any other videos other than this one. And if you haven't seen it, I'll probably show some of the videos, like right here, just like really little in the middle. Some of them I didn't want to show because I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for fucking whatever. But here's I Feel Fantastic right there. And as you can see, it is kind of a robot or an android or something of that nature singing a very weird little song. With some noodling in the background, some fucking shit like that.
It says, I feel fantastic.
Yeah, that's it. And then it's like, hey, hey, hey. And then like there's some other shit like later on the lyrics go more toward like, please leave, and then say like, run, 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 run. Now, this video, like I said, was uploaded in 2009 by a person that apparently didn't upload any other videos. So it started getting passed around as like this really creepy kind of shit, like what the fuck is the story behind this? Now, I can't remember at what timestamp it's at, but there's this, and like the head and arms kind of move, and then there's like this just random shot of like a backyard, and then like a close-up of like some dirt and sticks and stuff.
Oh shit, like they buried somebody.
Right, so it's like, so the fact that that was just in there, and I mean, this shit's creepy enough right here, but then like the fact that that was in there as well. So kind of an urban legend, I guess, started to spring up about this video. That whoever made this video, they go by the name John Bergeron, that perhaps they were a serial killer, and that this was like an android that they had made, because this android came to be named, people found out somebody that was named Ciarra. So they're like, this is the video that a serial killer made, and they killed somebody named Ciarra, and that shot in there is like where they buried her, and those are her clothes, and he made an android out of her. Because another thing, it wasn't just the shot of the woods. See right there where there's like a shot of a backyard, and it's like close up, and then there's like shit like that, and like, why is that even in there? Another weird thing too was that the description of the video talked about the Pygmalion myth, like the Greek legend of Pygmalion, which is a guy that, which if you don't know, which is about a guy that thought like all real women were, you know, unclean or like not worth it. And so he wanted to make a perfect woman, so he made one out of ivory. And I guess Aphrodite like felt sorry for him and brought the statue to life. So the fact that that was the only description of that video, and then there was like no other context for it, like all kind of fucking crazy like urban legends sprung up about that. Because like I said, it's been up since 2009, so like 11 years. So, you know, it went around and around. And then, like I said, somebody investigated and found out that the person that had created it was named John Bergeron, or called themselves John Bergeron. And he got a reputation of being, maybe he's a serial killer. But then somebody kind of dug deeper down, and then they found out that there was an old website for robot builders called androidworld.com. And that's where the name John Bergeron came from. He was the creator of this robot that was called Terra. And he said that he had made it for like a couple $1,000s, like with spare parts or whatever. And what his plan was, I think, or according to this website, was that he was going to make the world's first android pop star. Like, I guess it was like some kind of weird thing that he was launching. Now, apparently he had made 5 clips of this android. They were called Electricity Metal Version, Brutal Metal, Please, Electricity, and Brutal 1. But no one has ever been able to find any of those. And I'm not really sure like where the video that everybody's seen, which one that comes from. There actually was, for a time, somebody had uploaded, I believe it was in 2015, there was a YouTuber in Russia, and they uploaded like a longer video of the Terra thing, and they said, oh, this is like, you know, one of the full length ones, like that they had found somewhere. But then for some reason it got taken down, or they took it down or something, and no one's been able to find it anymore. So there's been like no activity on the channel. There's been no activity on this website. There's been no activity under that guy's name or anything like that since 2006, I guess, or, you know, from on that website. So it's like nobody really knows why he made the video, why there's like this fucking shot of like a fucking backyard in it. Like, that looks like, look where I buried somebody, like he was trying to get caught or some shit.
What year did this come from again?
It was first uploaded in 2009.
Okay.
Although I think the video was made earlier than that.
All right, yeah.
Because I think the website information was from 2006 or from earlier than 2006.
Okay. That
he had made this. And like I said, apparently his goal was, or so he said, was that he was going to make this android, and it was going to be the world's first android pop star. So I guess it was like I don't know if it was some art project he was doing or I don't know what it was. And like I said, that's just kind of the story behind it. Nobody really knows because that guy never came
Was
forward.
it a mannequin? I couldn't really see it that well. It looks
Yeah,
like it's a store mannequin.
Well, it's I think it was a dental mannequin,
Okay.
but he put machinery in it so that its head would move and its arms would move and stuff like that. So it was kind of like he called it Terror the Android.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, these guys better get ready for what's coming. Because a friend of ours owns this fucking little bar called Mannequins, and he bought 3 of these damn sex dolls. And
He already had one in there.
he already had one in there. And he put them in lingerie and had them standing up there like they were the strippers on the stripper pole. And the crowd's reaction to these things is fucking amazing. I mean, people go in and grope these things.
Well, obviously.
Even girls come in there and grope these things. It's fucking weird, you know? But it's amazing, you know what I mean? Just for like $1,000 of what kind of doll that'll get you.
Yeah.
Well, the $1,000 ones, I guess you say they look all right. I mean, you know,
They're still a little uncanny
they're still
valley.
a little uncanny valley, but they say they got like $2,000, $3,000 ones that the technology's getting a lot better. Before you know it, those things are going to be moving and walking and talking.
And then no one's going to want them because they're like, well, shit, I'll just get a real woman for that.
Well, they'll buy them. They'll buy them in a way a guy buys a car or a motorcycle.
Yeah.
That shit will be fucking wireless and talking to the internet and 5G. And then they'll realize that they could do work. And then once that happens, we're all out of a job, man. It's going to be like that fucking movie AI.
Well,
Where
yeah.
people are buying fucking robots and you send the robot to do your job. And then, yeah, that's seriously going to upset the fucking economy.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do?
Yeah, what's going to happen when you can get a better husband or a better wife? You just buy one. And it's a robot.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Human race will die out.
Human race will die out. Nobody
But
will get married.
but maybe everyone will be much happier.
How much I bet if they're planning that? The fucking
Who's they?
Powerful oligarchs and shit that are running the world are like, you know, we got to reduce the population. We invented these people. We created these people to work in our factories during the baby boom. And the factory, we don't need them anymore. We're going to replace them with robots anyway. Let's just give them all robots. Like they did in Blade Runner, you know, give them replicants to entice them to do stuff like leave and go off world. Well, they just do it. They entice you not to have children. They give you a fucking robot.
Yep.
And you don't know the difference. Or it's for a lot of these fucking incels, be better than what they could get, better than the woman they could get.
Well, that's what I mean. It's
You know
like
what I
in
mean?
a lot of ways it might be better for
they
some
leave
people.
real women alone.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that.
It's win-win.
Yeah.
We don't have their retarded
Well, they
ass
say-
coming up and fucking bothering me.
They said like 80% of the women are fighting over the top 10% of the men anyway.
Well, I don't
So
know
there's
if
a lot
it's
of-
that severe, but
Not
yeah.
That's I heard some pretty severe statistics.
Yeah, but where'd those statistics come from?
I don't know. It's just they're
Is
just
what I-
out there.
Yeah,
I have to go look at it
You
again.
pulled them out of your butt.
It's kind of evidently no. You know, how am I pulling them out of the butt? That's what I heard. I think that might be true for Japan. I mean, they got a fucking huge fucking everybody's single in Japan. Evidently, you got to be perfect to get a significant other.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
Well,
People living in them little rooms.
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know what you want me to do about it.
They're not having any replacement population.
Yeah, Oracle says the incels keep thinking that real women will be jealous of the robots. And speaking as a real woman, I think the incels are welcome to them.
That's what'll happen. The incels will be happy to get that robot. They'll be trading robots with each other. They'll be fucking buying
And
robots.
like I said, they'll be leaving real women alone.
Yeah.
So that'll make us happy.
They'll say,
So
this
they'll
old
just
model-
go shut up and go with their
They're like,
fucking-
I'm through with this old one. I'm going to go get the next model. It's better than this one. And then they fucking sell that one. They give that one to the hand-me-downs to somebody else and buy a bigger, better model. More realistic. I bet you they're going to be kind of doing that kind of shit. The
Yeah,
technology's there.
I forgot I didn't put my ticker back on.
Oh, yeah. Put the ticker back.
After my...
That's some spooky shit.
After
Just
I
talking about
said I
robots. All right, I'm off a robot kick.
Now, Kind of Aslan says, is the volume too low? I just turned the volume up. Why does my volume keep going back down? Because I don't touch it.
Ghosts.
Maybe it is.
There is what's that red X?
That's for this.
Okay.
That's for the webcam.
Okay.
I just pointed at everybody. That was like
All
3D. That was a 3D moment.
You see, I got to get in on this fucking program.
You got
So I know how to use it.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, it's easy to use
easy.
once. Well, it's easy once you have everything front loaded.
All right.
You know what I mean? Because I already have all the clips and everything like that in there.
Now,
I have to go in there and put everything in.
Alex says the sound is great. Some people say it sounds good.
Okay. Maybe it's just
Just
people's
some people.
YouTube or something. Because I really haven't touched it. Since the last time. And I think the last time that I did the audio, it was actually really loud.
It's Michael Jackson's ghost turning the volume down.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Fuck off. Get the hell out of my house. All right,
I'm starting to get some of that alcohol in my system.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's starting to get in there.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, you've really drunk quite a bit there. We're only 45 minutes in.
I'm ready, though. I'm ready. 45 minutes.
His body is ready.
I'm ready.
All right, so the next one I want to talk about, another classic YouTube video that comes up on a lot of creepy YouTube videos, is Sad Satan. Let's show a little bit of this. This is kind of like this one. I'm not sure. I can't remember where I got this one from because this is one of the videos that gets passed around a lot. So this actually is supposedly a video game that originated from the deep web. Now this was first premiered in June of 2015. And it was on a gaming channel that was called Obscure Horror Corner. Now, this was not a massive channel or anything like that, but they uploaded this, which ostensibly was a playthrough of this game called Sad Satan, which I believe was named after the backwards masking in that Led Zeppelin song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they uploaded it, and it's supposed to be a playthrough. Now, no one is entirely sure where this game came from, if it really did come from the deep web or whatever. So it's basically just, if you walk through it, it's just kind of like a maze, and it's just all these dark colors, and there's kind of buzzy looking and everything. And then it's just kind of changes in lighting, shit like that. There's kind of some flashes of photographs. Some of the photographs in there and some of the references in it are to some sexual assault, some rapists, pictures of rapists, the assassination of John F. Kennedy, stuff like that. So they're kind of flashing these images on the side, as you can see. Now, they supposedly, the website Kotaku, which is a gaming gaming website, they actually got an interview with a person who was ostensibly the owner of this channel, the Obscure Horror channel that I mentioned earlier. And this person said that they had downloaded this game from Tor, which is one of the, search engines or whatever that you use to access the deep web. And so he's saying that he didn't create it. He was just saying, I found it somewhere, and it was there was this user named ZK, and they were the ones that pointed me toward it, and then I downloaded it from the deep web. Now, then, a little bit later, there was another version of the game, and it was uploaded to 4chan. And this was uploaded by somebody claiming to be ZK, who was either the original creator of the game, ostensibly, or was the person that had pointed this Obscure Horror Corner channel toward it. And now, this version of the game was actually seemed like it was plagued with malware, it had all kind of shit. It was making people's computers crash. And then, if you could actually get into it and play it without your computer fucking up, they actually saw shit child porn and all this kind of crap. So turning up in there, and like I said, it was really fucking up people's hard drives and shit like that. So again, nobody really knows where this game came from, who made this game, where, what its origin was. Was that really the original version that had all this child porn and footage of murders in it and shit like that? So, all of this, kind of urban legend shit, sprung up around it. Now, I was reading this article about Sad Satan and kind of, about the history of it. And, they're okay, well, at this stage, it looks like there's, 3 possibilities. Possibility 1 being that Obscure Horror Corner that they didn't make the game, that they actually did find this on the deep web, just like they said they did, and that the person who posted the child porn version on 4chan was ZK, either the person who created it or the person who found it on the deep web. Or they said a guy who runs Obscure Horror Channel, who was interviewed by Kotaku back in 2015, that he was the one that created it and was just trying to like build up a mystique around it, maybe. So he's saying that he got it from somewhere else, because that's a very common thing to do with these types of things, like ARGs and stuff like that. If you want to imbue your shit with mystery, you never say you made it. You always say like someone gave it to you, or someone mailed it to you anonymously, or you found it someplace or something like that, because that makes it a lot more mysterious, because nobody knows where it came from. So it's possible that the guy that owned that YouTube channel was the one that actually made it. And there's also the possibility that the original game, which like I said isn't really all that exciting, is basically one that, it's just like a guy walking around a maze, pretty much, a POV of somebody walking around a maze, with every now and then like flashes of kind of like, rapists and murders and shit like that, but it didn't have like all the child porn and all the more graphic content in it. So it could be that somebody just downloaded the initial gameplay and added the child porn to it later on, and then uploaded it saying it was the original version, so they could like add another layer of shit to it, I guess. Because like I said, you say something was found on the deep web and people are going to flock to it and like put it all over YouTube and be like, what is this? It's so mysterious and everything. Because people love that kind of shit, right? So I feel like that's kind of where... I kind of feel like the third possibility is the more... Because this game, it doesn't look like... It was first posted in 2015, right? But it doesn't look like a game from that time period. It looks old. So I feel like it's maybe an old game. Somebody found it, and then somebody said, oh, I'm going to add like all this fucking child porn to it. I don't even know if it was originally called Sad Satan, or maybe somebody just called it that just to make it seem kind of creepy. But the creepy thing about this is that no one really knows where it came from or what its original form was, why somebody made it.
Do you have a picture of the game?
It's going right there.
Okay. Let me see.
It's just going right there. This is like... I mean, I can start it over if you want, but I don't think I can...
So what, is that an interior shot of something?
Yeah, it's like a maze.
It's like a maze?
Yeah. I mean,
and
this
how
is...
would child porn be? There'd be child porn be on the walls or something?
Yeah, I think it's on the walls. I haven't seen the
Okay.
child porn version,
Yeah.
obviously, but it's like...
Somebody just decided to fuck
Well,
it.
because earlier, if you saw earlier, there were like some flashes on the walls and there were like photographs, but that was like, like a photo of the JFK assassination and stuff like that. So I think somebody like went through there and inserted like child porn into it. I don't know if the original game had child porn and then somebody stripped it out and did like a clean version, or if it was the other way around.
There actually isn't like there's much to it.
That's what I mean. It's like, but I think what's creepy about it is like the backstory about it.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I picked some of these videos, because a lot of videos that I saw like on a lot of these lists were...
Sandra's going, Tom, it's been running for 10 minutes. I can't see that. You're looking at a screen. I'm not looking at a screen.
He's not paying attention.
I have to look down here
He
to see a
doesn't know
screen.
what's going on.
Trying to make me feel like I'm some old grandpa. I'm not looking at the screen. You're looking at the screen.
Well, yeah, that probably is. All right, so let me go back to my ticker. Go back to my tickers. Yeah, so like I said, the creepy thing about that one is just some of these videos, like I said, the stories behind them make them creepier. Because a lot of videos that I thought were like really cool or really creepy weren't real and weren't like, they were either ARGs or they were web series or they were like an art project, and they were creepy, but it's like they weren't trying to make it seem like, oh, this is a real poltergeist thing, or this is a real this, that, and the other, or it's a real serial killer or whatever. They were just trying to like make it realistic, but in the way that a found footage movie is realistic, you know what I'm saying? Although I will say that I didn't really want to get into too much of just like horror short films, because there's a lot of really good ones on YouTube, but some of the ones that I thought were really good, and one that people did think was real for a long time, I think it was called No Through Road, and it was these 3 or 4 British guys, and they were basically, it was like a found footage, and they were driving around, and they kept going through, I think it was like a tunnel, but they kept, every time they went through the tunnel, they would like loop back around to the same place again. And so it was kind of like they were all freaking out because they didn't know where they were and they were lost and like their GPS like went haywire and all this other kind of shit.
Like Vivarium.
Well, yeah, it was kind of like that, but it came out like a while back. I don't remember when it was. And like for a while that got passed around, and then like they got attacked by this like really creepy looking like dude like in a weird mask or whatever. And then like he beats the shit out of the guy in the face like with the camera like at the end, and like it was really good. It was really well done. But I think for a little while that got passed around as a real video, but actually it was a found footage movie. And now you can kind of find it. And that reminded me too, like when I was watching it, is that on some like paranormal channels or like cryptid channels and stuff, I've seen a video of like, look at this fucking creepy ass, you know, creature that ran across the road. And they show this creature going across the road like at night in front of a car, and like his little knees and legs are on backwards and everything. And I said, that's from Extra, that movie from the 80s. You know what I mean? You remember that British horror movie, sci-fi horror, Extra?
Yeah, I remember that. It was good.
They had that one scene where that really creepy like critter, like with the backwards legs, like runs across the road in front of that car. And for a long time, people had been taking that clip out of that movie and putting it up on YouTube as a real cryptid sighting, because not many people have seen that movie. So I guess a lot of people didn't recognize it. Yeah. And another thing that happens too is that I even saw one video that somebody had posted that had bits of like, you know, this guy in the mask and with the big mouth, and he's like sitting in the corner, like shaking, and all this stuff is coming out.
I remember that one.
And I'm like, that's from Begotten. That was a 1991 movie by Elias Merhige, or however you pronounce his last name. He's the same guy that made Shadow of the Vampire with Willem Dafoe. Have you seen that? But
it was black and white, right?
Yeah, he made a movie in 1991 that looked like an old silent film. Yeah. And it's like, it's really good. I watched it on YouTube. It's like, it's really, really creepy and really nightmarish. It's kind of like all symbolic, you know? It's like kind of a, I don't even know if it's like kind of a biblical story, or it's kind of like a, like he's supposed to be God, and he's like, all his bowels are coming out and all this. I don't know. I don't remember what it was.
I think it's just meant to trip you out.
It is kind of trippy. Yeah. I mean, it's long. It's like, it's like a feature film. It's not like a short film. But I've seen like clips of that taken out too, and like taken out of context and like put in like creepiest videos and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, I've seen that movie. But yeah. Now, this one I want to talk about. I don't know if this one's real or not, but this is super creepy. So this was put up. I don't remember how, maybe 2011, I want to say. Maybe it was earlier. But it was this guy named DJ Def Joey. DJ Jeff, I want to say, like in the fucking DJ Jazzy Jeff in the Fresh Prince or whatever. That's why I want to keep saying. I know, that's why I wanted to keep saying that.
Dating yourself.
I know. DJ Def Joey.
Yeah. And
he put up this video, and you're going to love the title of this. My Dead Great-Grandma's Coffin in My Own Backyard. Now, the story behind this thing in, what you call it?
Sign language.
In sign language.
So
now, apparently the story behind this is that I don't know if... So, the cemetery where his great-grandmother was buried, apparently, was closing, which, okay. And they didn't know, like, I guess he couldn't afford to have her moved to another cemetery, or there was some issue there. So he just decided he was going to put his great-grandma's coffin in his backyard and just, like, keep it there. I don't know what he was planning to do with it subsequently. But, you know, that's creepy, but it's not really that creepy. But then he makes this video for whatever reason. And you will see in a little while, he's like, let's open it up and, like, look at her in there. So he goes and he opens up He opens her up, and then he does something else also, which I don't really want to spoil it.
Did he kiss her?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And I don't know if it's, I mean, it looks like a real dead body.
You're not going to show it?
But it is showing. It's like, okay. He's it's not going to show. It's not going to show. It says right there.
She does an old man voice to imitate me.
I know.
He does some shit. It's not going to show it.
Because that's...
How old do you think I am, Jenny? How old the fuck do you think I am?
No, but it's not the age. It's that you sound like an old person. Like you're always like clueless all the time.
No,
like,
I can't see
what's
it.
going on? Where is it? What's happening? You sound like that. Like you remind me of that old guy that was like in the movies behind us. Like, what's going on? Who's this now?
Fuck all this,
Where
man. I
is
gotta
it?
leave the show. Did he open it up? I'm looking now. He's opening it up. He's talking about it.
He's talking about it. He's going to open it up. It's like, why? I don't understand. Like, and I looked behind. I was like, what is the story behind this? And every single story behind it says, well, you know, the cemetery was closing and he needed someplace to put his great-grandma. Or put his great-grandma's coffin. Which I'm like, okay, fine. But that doesn't mean, like, keep the coffin in the backyard. Which, okay.
Look at that bitch.
But I don't know.
Look at that bitch. He's wearing puka shells. That bitch is wearing puka shells.
My dad used to have those back in the 70s and early 80s. He had a puka shell necklace. But he's like showing the coffin like he's all proud of it and stuff. And then like, you know, which, okay, neat. But then he's like, I don't know. Like, I get it where you'd be like, well, maybe the curiosity would kind of get you. Well, let's see what it looks like inside. But it's like, so I can sort of understand that up to that point, but then like later, yep, there she is. She's there in the coffin.
Oh man.
Yeah. Hey, great grandma.
He was able to open that up.
Yeah.
I thought that would have been.
See, I don't like. I said this might be fake,
This
but
gotta be fake.
but I don't. You know, I don't know.
Usually when they bury something like that, they seal it shut with a bunch of fucking
Yeah. Why is-
cement and everything.
Why is her hair like that? That's what I wonder.
Yeah, I'm not buying.
This is one that like
Not
kind
buying.
of. She looks kind of like
I'm
mummified.
not buying. See, another thing is that should all be stained from rotten corpse juice. It looks too clean in there.
That's what I'm saying. The hair is the one thing that's making it. Yeah, see there, he's like, oh, there you
I don't
go.
believe
Oh,
it.
I love you, Grandma.
Yeah, he's full of shit. He's full of shit. That's trolling. That bitch is trolling.
I don't even know if this dude has like made any other videos or not.
bitch
I
is
forgot
trolling.
to check. But it's like this one is like really, really famous.
There's a
This
lot
one's
of
been
problems.
viewed like millions of times.
There's a lot of problems in this story. I don't think they'd let you bury anybody in your backyard, especially.
Well,
not
I don't know
inside the
what country is this.
Not-
I don't
not-
even know.
Especially not in the city limits. All right. Now those inbreds, the inbred family, they had relatives buried out in the front yard, but they were wards of the state. You know what I mean? And they're
Yeah.
up in Appalachia. You know what I
True.
mean? Fuck, it doesn't matter if you bury somebody on the side of the road in Appalachia. Nothing's ever going to be built there after you're dead, and all that shit fucking rots away. And then I look at this shit. Okay. I've seen them take caskets and then bury them. You know, they usually have that shit covered up in like cement and spackle. It's totally sealed. You can't
Yeah.
open it up.
Yeah.
Once, you know what I mean? After the service is over, they seal the whole thing up. It's like it's in a block of concrete almost.
Yeah.
And then it's buried. At least here in the United States.
Yeah.
You can't just open it.
Pepper says his dead great grandma gets credit for being in the video. Yeah,
Yeah.
she was in the credits at the end.
And here's the thing. That
She was
was
the star.
that wasn't sealed. Groundwater and everything would have got in it.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know
It's not real.
where this was from.
It's not real.
Oh, it said I just found out it was originally posted in October of 2010. Okay, so it's 10 years old. But I
not
don't.
real.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like I said, it looked kind of realistic, but then the hair was kind of like, and then I was kind of like, why would you kiss your great grandma? I mean, why would you kiss your great grandma in the mouth while she was alive?
Yeah.
Much less when she was dead. That's
He's just
a little
trying to
weird.
freak you out, and that was just some kind of a prosthetic. You know what I mean? Like something from a movie. You know what I mean? It was a fake dead body.
You know what it kind of reminded me of with the hair sticking up like that? It kind of reminded me of one of the bodies from Poltergeist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because wasn't there one point in that where there was like a body and it was like hair was sticking
Now,
up?
how
or the
long
arms were like that?
How long had he said she'd been buried?
Oh, I don't know. I
Okay.
couldn't see like the little bitty.
Okay. Because
thing.
I've seen real coffins opened up after people have been buried for a couple decades. It's nasty in there. It's dirty.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of stains. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you fucking rot.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't look like that. It looks very damp and wet in there.
Soupy.
Soupy. Yeah.
Because dead bodies,
There'd be
everything just leaks.
Yeah, lots of stains, lots of stains, and all the cloth gets eaten up because there's bacteria that starts eating on all the cloth and everything. It doesn't look that nice.
Yeah, and the thing is, her body looked mummified, which would imply that she'd been in there a long time, but the coffin still looked nice and the clothes still look nice.
It's not...
I mean, I have seen real bodies that still looked okay. You know what I mean?
High altitude, low temperature.
But yeah, it depends on the climate. And like I said, I don't know where that guy is from or where that video came from. So it's like I'm not really sure. Yes, he could live somewhere where it's not super damp.
Yeah.
And, you know, the body didn't rot.
I saw the Mexicans looking at a dam. They brought a Mexican girl down from some mountains somewhere. She had been ritually sacrificed.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, I saw that.
Her hair was all braided, and she just looked fresh as shit. I mean, just fresh as hell. It looked like a 16-year-old girl sitting there. She'd been up there for about 400 or 500 years.
Yeah.
But very high altitude, thin atmosphere, real cold.
Well, yeah, because it's...
I think it might have been Andes Mountains. I can't remember. It might. I don't know. Maybe Kanavatsan might know.
Because preservation, you need dryness. You need everything. You need no humidity.
Very dry, very cold. No insects or anything up there, and she was just kind of like dry frozen. You know what I mean? Like freeze dried.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. Freeze dried.
Like
but
jerky.
Her hair looked normal. Fine braids.
Yeah.
Long braids.
Well, yeah, I've seen like thousands of year old mummies that had like hair that still looked almost
if you saw her from the side or the back, you'd think she was just asleep, you know, and you look at the face and she's pretty dried up, a little dried up. But she still looked fresh, like she'd only maybe like a week old.
Yeah.
You know, didn't look like an ancient dead body.
Yikes.
It's a trip, man.
It is pretty creepy. All right, so let's see. What else have we got? Let's talk about the Lost Man in the Paris Catacombs video. This is another one that comes up a lot on many like creepy videos lists. Let's put it up here and get it going.
It's very bizarre.
This is not the whole entire thing because the whole entire thing is like super slow. But apparently the story
These
behind
arrows
this,
point in a direction.
So it
Occasionally
originally
also
aired
he stops
on
to photograph
a
rooffuls of
documentary.
bones. Which means that
It
he's
was on,
very
but
deep
it
inside
kind
the
of came up on a
catacombs.
bunch of different shows, like in the early 2000s.
So basically he's
like
filming what he's
Dwayne
seeing,
type
very
shows,
deep inside the
creepy
catacombs.
shit type shows. There was one
Other than the point
Halloween
of view shots,
special on ABC
or pictures
Family.
of human
There was a
bones.
show on Sci-Fi Channel that had
Catacombs
scary
for
places on
centuries.
Earth, and they also showed this one.
So it is possible with these paintings
Now, the original
that we may
movie,
be able to retrace his itinerary to some extent.
supposedly, these bits of like camcorder footage that you're seeing, this is basically like a
After
found
about,
footage type of
we
thing.
hear his breathing get louder and louder,
She says,
as though something was scaring him. He's frightened. He's frightened.
Let me turn the video down. There we go. It doesn't really matter what anyone's saying anyway on the video. It's just kind of like goes through the catacombs. So what happens in this is supposedly was filmed by somebody who was going through the Paris Catacombs, which, as most people know, is like there's like 6 million dead bodies and skeletons. It's like all these like little tunnels. It's very easy to get lost. You're technically not really supposed to go down in there because
They go down in there anyway.
they
though.
go down in there anyway, but technically you're not really supposed to. Actually, there's a really good horror movie. I think it's on Netflix maybe or Shudder called As Above, So Below, which I believe they actually did let them film in the Paris Catacombs, which I think is the only horror film that was allowed to do that. And they think that maybe they got the idea from that particular video because it was like very popular. So evidently this guy had gone through the Paris Catacombs and was exploring them like back in the 1990s. And then, just like in the fucking Blair Witch Project and every other found footage movie, he disappeared down there, and then later on somebody else found his footage. And they, you know, so the guy is like kind of going through the catacombs and he's like getting really disoriented and seems like he's getting lost. And then he, then at the end of it, like he falls over and there's like a splash. Like, I don't know if they implied that like something came to get him or if it was like some kind of shit like that, or if he just got lost in there and like couldn't get out. Which, like I said, that is like a pretty real thing that could happen, which is why they don't really let you run around down there, because I guess over the years there's just it's just become such a labyrinth, and it kind of goes up and down like all these different levels. There's like all these different entrances to it, and most of them are blocked off. But it's like if you just keep going around this one, and then you go down that one place, and then you can't get up again suddenly, and then you're just like stuck down there, and they never fucking find your ass.
We did a show early on about underground stuff.
Yeah.
I'm totally fascinated by it.
Me too.
Underground stuff that's been underground, people have forgotten. Just saw something recently that there are abandoned subway systems and tunnels underneath Boston. And I lived in Boston area, and some of them are forgotten. Nobody's been in them for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Not only were they sealed, but they were forgotten where they were. And evidently, recently somebody went down in one, and it looked brand new. It was like something from the 1880s. It had been sealed up, but it was still there, like it was ready for use.
Yeah.
Weird, huh?
That is weird.
Yeah. And then if anybody in the audience can help me remember where this was, I'm gonna remind you guys again. I saw a program on one of the History Channel or something. This must have been fucking 25 years ago, maybe now. Yeah, maybe about 20 years ago. No, not that much. 15 years ago, probably. There was a mine, and I think it was some kind of like a fucking bauxite mine or a salt mine or something. And I think it was somewhere around New Orleans or underneath, or the entrance to it was somewhere in Louisiana. And it went, I think, under the Gulf of Mexico. Stretched way out in there. I think it was bauxite. But it's abandoned now. They built it in the early 1900s, and it ran all the way up until like the 1950s. And then it got shut down. And they went into it recently, and there's a whole 1960s or 1950s town still underground. And it's fucking weird as hell, man. There's all these apartment buildings and a downtown with fucking stoplights and stop signs and parking. What do they call them? Parking garage or what do you call them? Parking spaces and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And garages and shit. And it looks like you're outside. It's got street lights and everything, but you're in a fucking cave. You can't see the roof.
Yeah.
It's hundreds of feet.
Yeah,
Hundreds of feet to the roof. And it had tunnels going everywhere with roads in them, so they could go to other parts of the mine. And all the miners lived in that town with their families. And, they'd stay in there, several months at a time, and then they'd go up to the surface. And these guys were looking at it all and going into those old apartments, and there's still calendars and beds made, like they were coming right back, and it was just a trip to look at this thing. It's an entire town in total darkness underneath the ground.
Yeah.
Creepy as shit.
That's pretty creepy.
Imagine if somebody abducted you and took you down there, blindfolded, and you didn't know where you were, and you woke up and you thought you were blind. And you were just walking around inside that old town. And the cars are still there and everything.
Yeah, remember you tell me. It's like, and we've looked around for that, and we couldn't find it again. Because you saw it on a show, right? Like on the Travel Channel or something.
You're walking out inside the parking lot, with fucking big old flashlights, and you can see cars parked there, and all the tires are rotted. It's just sitting on its rims, covered in a thick fucking layer of dirt. And there's damn 1950s era, fucking street lamps and lights over the parking lot. And there's just cars in there and just towns and shops and everything. And I can't find it.
Yeah.
I think it was bauxite. Bauxite mine.
Yeah, because I remember us doing a lot of Google searches, looking for that shit again, and we couldn't find it.
It was a whole underground town. And if I remember correctly, it was something that was used in making aluminum. And I think that's bauxite. I think it's bauxite.
Yeah.
Because they showed a couple different ones. But somebody could help me remember what that was, if they remember. It was fucking spooky. I want to see it again.
Yeah.
They went into those apartments, and it was just like in a tomb. Just apartment after apartment after apartment, perfectly preserved. With fucking calendars and the beds made and dishes and everything, and fucking in total darkness.
Well, that's what every time we see, because you watch a lot of urban exploration channels.
Yeah.
And to me, the creepier ones are ones where the shit is untouched.
Yeah, it's untouched. Yeah.
Because obviously most abandoned places have had people going in there squatting in there, teenagers go in there to smoke weed or whatever, and they spray paint all over the walls and break stuff. But ones where, like, especially those ones like those mansions that are like way out in the woods and they just got abandoned, like, either, I don't know if the people that live there died or whatever, but it's like all the shit is like still there.
It's all still there.
Like all the furniture is still there and nothing really looks all that bad.
What's weird is some of those fucking abandoned mansions, there hasn't been anybody in them in 20 years and all the stuff's still in there. And it's in disarray. You can see the people maybe have rummaged through it, but no real damage. You could live in it.
Yeah.
It's fucking spooky.
Yeah, because some of those mansions I've seen on there, I'm like, I could live in that.
Yeah.
It's like, that looks pretty livable, actually.
A couple of those mansions they showed were modern mansions, like, from this era of architecture. Big glass walls, everything. Nobody's been in them since 2000.
Yeah.
And some bank owns it.
Which doesn't seem like that long ago.
Doesn't seem that long. That's 20 years. And there's stuff in them or, furniture in there. And it looks like you're in a nice hotel.
Yeah.
That's here in Florida, some of that stuff.
Yeah.
I would imagine it's fucking hot as hell in there.
Well, yeah. I wouldn't want to live in Florida without AC. And honestly, abandoned places in Florida don't usually last all that long because the humidity. I mean, you're going to get the humidity. Everything's, as soon as the air conditioning goes off, mold's going to start growing on everything. And also termites are going to start eating everything. So, and vines are going to grow over everything. Like, it's just the whole floor is going to be covered with like grass and vines and crap. And there'll be bugs everywhere in it and fucking... You know what I mean? And as soon as it rains, like, it'll get all damp. The fucking roof will fall in and shit like that.
No, they're talking about that salt mine in Portland. No, it's not that salt mine.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of that. I think we talked about that on that show. We might have.
No.
Because that's super cool looking.
I think the entrance to this thing was somewhere around Louisiana, and then you had to go down into a big old fucking elevator. And... that was somewhere in Louisiana, and then you had to get in a damn road. And the mine had been working on the mine for about 100 years. Back in the 1800s is when they started. And then the mine went under, I think it was the Gulf of Mexico. So I think that town was underneath the ocean in the Gulf of Mexico. Imagine that shit.
That's cool.
Or at least some of it was out. Some of the tunnels were going out there. I don't remember.
I would not mind living underground.
Yeah.
Not one bit.
They were in perpetual darkness. And... the town, the company, the mining company ran that town. Fucking, it was spooky as shit. I'd like to see it again, but
I remember seeing some show. I don't know. It might have been a series like a while back about people that lived underground, like they built houses in caves or like they dug out houses and shit. And I remember there was one in, I think it was in Australia, somewhere in New Zealand, I want to say. And, like, it was actually really, really nice. Like, it wasn't super far underground. They had just kind of, like, dug out underground and, like, made... And they, like, carved, like, furniture, some of, like, bookshelves and shit like that, like, out of the walls. Because I guess the rock was fairly soft. Yeah. And it was, like, really, really nice. I thought it was really nice and cozy. Yeah. I'm like, I'd totally live in that. I'm not weirded out by, like, living underground. It doesn't bother me.
Getting back to stealing an abandoned Florida mansion, which would sound like a good idea. But think about it. You'd have to get that thing reconnected to some of that shit had power going to it.
Yeah.
Which that's quite surprising.
Yeah.
Because if you turned on the AC, the mansions that size is probably close to $600 a month just in air conditioning costs in Florida during the summer. You think you'd think that they would notice that power drain? Maybe not.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like maybe it's.
Some of those mansions had power.
Yeah.
And so...
Well, like maybe one house they wouldn't really notice because, in the grand scheme of things, it's not really going to...
If you moved into it, you'd have to turn the air conditioning on. We live in Florida. You cannot survive without air conditioning.
That's what I mean.
The house would rot without it.
Yeah, your house is just going to be one big fucking mold factory.
Big mold ball.
Like after one summer.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be covered with mold.
So I assume the banks make sure. Maybe there must be some kind of caretaker that make sure the AC is on. But in the comments section, when guys were talking about those mansions, they were in the real estate business, and they said that those mansions are worthless.
Yeah.
Because the mansion market evidently is flooded. A person who has money for a mansion wants their own fucking mansion built from fucking scratch.
Well, yeah, you want it the way you want it. If you have the money, why would you buy some? I mean, unless you were like super, super into like a particular like old style or you liked old antique things.
They want new mansions now, and they want them fucking custom ordered, and evidently the mansions that we're looking at that are abandoned are not great quality in terms of fucking the construction.
Yeah.
And for the amount of money it takes to buy it and then bring it back up to your fucking standards, you could just have a whole new mansion built, brand new.
Yeah.
So they don't sell. They sit there on the market for fucking decades. And I guess the banks use them as collateral, I guess. Probably.
Yeah, I don't know what they do with them.
And I guess I don't know if they have caretakers. It seems like people could just walk into them.
Well,
Imagine
yeah, because all those urban exploration channels, it's like
they just go into them.
They just go into them, and there's got to be like, they have a network because they all know where they are, because they don't say where they are on the channels because they don't want people running around in there.
What I thought would be a good scam is just to move in there and just start fixing shit up and make it look like you own it. And if somebody asks you any questions, I'm the caretaker.
Well, that's what I mean. It's
I'm
like
caretaker.
you might be able to get away with that for a long time if it was like kind of remote and no
Yeah.
one came by there to check on it.
And if the bank ever showed up and said, "What are you doing here?" And says, "I'm the caretaker. I don't own it. I'm the caretaker." "You're the caretaker?" It says, "Yeah, the bank put me here as the caretaker." "Who are you with?" "I'm with the bank." I says, "And we're on the same team." "This is not my house. This is your house." I bet you could get away with it for a long, long time. If a house could sit there for fucking 20 years abandoned, that means you could be in it for another 20 years.
Without anybody.
You could have been in it that whole 20 years.
That's what makes me angry. Is that, I wish I had moved into it 20 years ago. I could have lived there for 20 years for free.
I assume somebody comes checks on it, but what kind of... There's no skin off that person's nose if you're taking care of the house.
That's what I mean. It's like, why would they care?
Yeah, you go like, I'm taking care of it.
It's like you're not hurting anything.
Right, right. You're actually keeping it from falling down.
Right.
You're maintaining it.
It's like all they can get you on is trespassing. And it's like...
Right. I'd change all the fucking locks.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that would probably be the first
And then when
thing
he shows up, give him the key.
Yeah.
When the bank man shows up, so here's the new key.
Yeah.
What do you mean there's a new key? Oh, no, the bank changed it out. You didn't know I'm the caretaker. I'd pull the Axel Foley on him. Just like Axel Foley.
Yeah, somebody just said, didn't Axel Foley do that? Louis Hernandez.
Yeah. It's like something he would do.
Well, yeah. And like I said, I don't see why, unless they really wanted to be assholes about it, or unless there might be some kind of issue with, liability or something like that. Like they might get in trouble if somebody gets hurt on the property or blah, blah, blah. But other than that, I can't really see why anyone would even, one, notice that you were in there if you weren't calling attention to yourself. And two, even if they did know and you were fixing up the place, then why would they care?
You can't. They're talking about Centralia. You can't live in Centralia, though.
No.
Centralia has a bunch of noxious gases. There's no power, and there's no water, so you can't live there.
Dan Bell did a good video about that. There's been a couple of good videos done about Centralia. That's a weird ass place. Yeah,
and every house in there's an old fucking dilapidated 1950s era white trash fucking house now. There's no nice houses in Centralia. It looks like Fallout 4.
Yeah.
You don't want to live there.
It's like, it's a weird place to go because it's just like so eerie.
There's a badass resort here in Florida. You can look it up. I think one of the urban exploration one. Just go look at Abandoned Florida Resort. It's in pristine condition. George Bush stayed in it during the 9/11 thing. He was secretly hiding out in there. And it's a huge resort in real good condition with still has power and it has AC window units. You could move in there, and there's penthouses, because some of the buildings are like 20 stories tall. You could move into the penthouse there and probably stay there for years and nobody realize that you're in there.
See, I need to look into that.
Yeah.
So I don't have to pay.
That's some shit Lex Luthor would do.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's some supervillain shit.
Supervillains, yeah.
Like, think how much money you could save.
Yeah.
On rent.
Living in a fucking penthouse in an abandoned resort.
Yeah.
Florida resort.
Like, as long as it still had power. Because the weird thing is that a lot of those abandoned places, an alarming amount of them still have power.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's been abandoned for 20 years.
Which, like I said, I guess it just must not be enough of a drain for anyone to notice, or everybody forgot that it was still... Yeah. And it doesn't really, mark on the fucking...
Yeah.
Doesn't even, tip the needle because they have so many other residences and businesses.
We got
that
people in the
notice.
Conversation from Germany and other places in Europe and everything. America, our states are the size of a European country, and there's enough empty space and our population density is very low. We only have high population density around urban areas of cities, you know, LA, New York. You literally can just leave, a house and it'll stay there for fucking decades untouched. Kind of spooky when you think about it.
And like I said, like pretty soon, like all the fucking bushes will grow over there.
Yeah,
Everybody all just forgot that it was there.
Yeah, I saw one of those in Mississippi. Looked like a big old thicket. Yeah. Fucking was going through it. There's a fucking old Victorian fucking house there. What was left of it.
I love that though. I love that. Yeah, that's just like so creepy to me that you can just be like going through the woods and like all of a sudden there's a house there.
Yeah, well, it was fucking just a bit under a big thicket.
Yeah.
Basically, because I guess the house bushes just took over it and the trees and everything.
All covered with kudzu.
Yeah, and it was something from the 1800s, and there hadn't been anybody in it since probably the 1950s. And once I saw it, even though I had a shotgun on me at the time, fucking I looked at it, looking in through those fucking windows, looked like I was looking into a blackness of a cave. I got chills went down my spine. And I went, because it looked furnished. You know what I mean? It was fucking spooky. For all you know, there's a dead old lady from fucking 50 years ago in there. You know,
I don't think I could have resisted going in there to look. I'd be like, come on, maybe there's the dead body in here.
You couldn't fight all those fucking bushes to get to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I needed a machete.
You need a machete,
You need a machete to get to it. Yeah, but I could see it. Just a dilapidated old 2-story house.
Yeah.
Like 1880s.
Well, see, I wrote a story like several years ago.
And here's the weird thing. There was no road or street.
Yeah.
Long gone.
Probably there used to be.
Long gone. Yeah, there used to be, but there was nothing.
I wrote a story like that like several years ago because I was thinking about it because when we had like, I think this is back in 2004, like when we had it here in Central Florida, we had like 4 or 5 hurricanes like in like a 6-week period. And it like tore like my fucking backyard all up, like a bunch of trees fell down and shit like that. And I was thinking to myself one day, I was just like looking out the window and I was like, man, what if there was like a house hidden back there in the woods that I had never known was there, that was like there the whole time and like I'd never known about it. So like I ended up writing a story like kind of related to that. So that's kind of like what it reminds me of, like every time you tell me about finding that fucking house in the woods.
Yeah, it was weird.
Like just in the fucking bushes.
We got 67 watching us right now. I think that's a record.
At one time? That's like pretty good.
Yeah. We got to get back to the main story though.
Yeah, so like I said, the Paris Catacombs one, there's still like, just like with most of these videos, there's a lot of controversy over whether this is real shit or whether the person that made the original documentary that said they found the footage, whether they actually made the footage and whether it was fake. This actually did turn up, somebody mentioned it, and I think I mentioned it earlier, that it was on like World's Scariest Places or whatever, like on the Travel Channel or Sci-Fi Channel. And I think it was on like fucking Ghost Adventures and shit like that too. But, so like I said, I don't know if it's real or not, but a lot of people have said that there's kind of like a lot of creepy sounds in there. And like at one point, I don't know if you saw like in the video, but there was like this weird like figure like drawn on the wall, kind of like somebody had been down there and like drew this weird thing. So like people were talking about that. Now this video right here, I don't know how well known this one is. This is just one that I always really liked, that I always found really creepy. Now this one is just called, I think it's just called like Floating Girl or Levitating Girl or something like that in Russia. Now let me turn this down a little bit. So here's this guy in Russia and he's got his little dog. His dog's name is Tarzan, by the way. And so Tarzan starts barking and like runs off because
that's a masculine dog.
Because apparently the dog sees something. So he's like, hey, Tarzan, come back here. So he keeps like yelling for the dog to come back, but the dog doesn't come back. So then if you look, he goes down this like little road right here and look, there's a girl like floating.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, and it's like, for some reason I really like this one. And the guy's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh no. And then they run off. Like they were doing something they weren't supposed to be doing. Yeah.
Well, there's a strategic reason why they did it.
I love that one.
They don't want you to know what happened to the girl because the girl was hanging there all along. She's on a wire.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying I really like the way that one was done because there wasn't like a big build up. There wasn't like any kind of like, oh shit, there wasn't like a jump scare. There wasn't anything. Like if you're going to fake a video, do ones like that because that to me is like way creepier Because you can put yourself in that guy's shoes. I'm just out in the woods with
Yeah.
my dog one day, and then I just turn the corner, and there's a fucking girl floating in the air.
Yeah.
And then they just run off. It's like there's not a big monster. There's nothing like that. To me, that's like way creepier. And that was one that I saw like probably years ago. I think it was first posted in 2016. And that was just one that always stuck with me because I just like liked it so much.
Yeah.
Because I like that kind of subtle.
No, it's
subtle.
a good shot. It's a good gag.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. All right. So actually, I kind of have to go to the bathroom.
Go ahead.
So are
Take
you
a
gonna
break.
like entertain?
Yeah, I'll entertain.
You
When you
entertain.
come back, I'll get another drink. I'll make drinks for us when you come back.
Okay. Yeah. I just gotta run.
Are there any commercials I have to run?
Well, I can run them in a minute because we're only like an hour and a half.
Okay. So let me see. All right, so I'm now at the command module. I even got fucking evil Spock with me. Mirror Spock. I don't necessarily think he was evil. He was just the different Spock. See what you guys are doing. See what's everybody. Conavatslan's there. Tom is still not drinking. Of course I'm drinking, man. I've been drinking since the beginning of the show. His wife's feeding him. I made some Mexican food today too. I took some of that pork tenderloin, and I spiced that up, slow cooked that in a little bit of fucking olive oil and vegetable oil. It was nice, man. Fucking it. And I just pulled pork. I also got pork shoulder I'm gonna cook up later. See what I'm gonna do. Jana wants me to croon too. Wants me to sing. Yeah, Tom has a con. Eating menudo. You know, I fucking had menudo one time in the army. My fucking buddy, Miguel Chafino made some menudo when we were up in Korea. And I don't remember how he made it. He had all the spices and everything, got the tripe and did it. Man, that shit it had a good flavor. The gravy did. But when the tripe went in there, it wasn't mine. I didn't like it. I'm not a big internal organ kind of guy.
I can do without the.
All right.
There's that rubber band. I lost that earlier today.
Let me get that right there, and I'll make a.
All right, he's gonna go make some drinks, and I'm gonna start talking about. I'm the fastest peer ever. Well, yeah, it's like I get shit done. I don't dilly dally. I guess now I sound like a grandma. Yeah, so what else is on my list here? All right, so let's talk a little bit about a little thing called the Wyoming Incident. Now, this was supposedly... Now, I think most people know about a real thing that happened, the Max Headroom Incident, or the Max Headroom broadcast, or whatever they called it. Now, that happened back in 1987 in Chicago. Now, that was when, and this actually kind of impresses me because back in 1987, I imagine it was much harder to like hack into a TV broadcast than it would be like nowadays. But someone actually managed to do it, and they broke into this program with kind of like a person wearing a Max Headroom mask. And if you don't know who Max Headroom is, obviously you can Google it. It's like, I remember watching that show a lot when I was growing up. And it just kind of had this person, they were like saying all these really weird things. And there was like this, there was the guy in the mask was like getting whipped by like a woman in a French maid outfit or some shit like that. So somebody had like interrupted a broadcast and put that in there. And to this day, as far as I'm aware, they never did like find out who did that or why they did it. So this other thing called the Wyoming Incident, I guess was kind of like inspired by that. So this was a similar thing where, and I think I have video of this as well. This might not be the original
Wyoming today, making
kind
him
of
the first
thing,
to visit in preparation for the 2008 general election.
But it's the same kind of thing where there was like a news broadcast and then there's like a break-in.
I kicked Spock.
Oh no.
I kicked Spock here.
Oh, thanks. What is that? It's not pineapple. Or are we out of pineapple juice?
Out of pineapple.
Oh, okay, I'm out of pineapple.
That's lemon with a little bit of cranberry.
Yeah.
That's special punch.
Special punch.
Special punch. That's what I called that shit. It's good though.
Well, let me try it.
It's good. You're gonna like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good, huh?
Woo! It's tart. There's cranberry in there, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say. Yeah, so I was talking about, you've heard of the Max Headroom incident, right?
The TV?
Yeah, that happened back in 87.
That's a really good story.
Well, and like I said, that's kind of, a lot of people know about that one, and that was actually real. Like, somebody actually did, break into a TV broadcast with that kind of stuff, although nobody knows why they did it, and they never caught the person.
They know who it is, though.
Well,
they're
maybe.
Pretty sure.
Well, like I said, it seems like I'm kind of impressed by that, because back in 87, it was probably much harder, like I said earlier, to bust into a TV broadcast than it would be nowadays.
I heard a story of some guys that, or at least a group of people that thought they knew who it was.
Yeah.
Now, we'll see what you say, and then I can chime in.
Well, I wasn't necessarily talking about that one. I was talking about another, like a recent one that was called the Wyoming Incident, that I think was like inspired by that.
Yeah.
This one actually started in late January of 2007. Now, a bunch of videos started circulating, along with the ones that I'm showing right now that say, like, you were ill and, like, show all these faces and stuff. And they started circulating around the same time as, like, all these kind of creepypasta stories. And the stories said that these were from a hijacked TV broadcast that happened in Niobrara County. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. In Wyoming, Nebraska. Wyoming, Nebraska?
Weird, yeah.
Why would you name a
That's
city
like
the same as
California, Florida?
Right. There is a Switzerland, Florida.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? It's like because I was driving to my mom's house and when she used to live near Jacksonville, and I was like, Switzerland? There's a city called Switzerland in Florida. I don't get it.
It's like France, Germany. Where are you from? From France, Germany?
They're like, well, wait, which is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why you would name something. Yeah. I don't know. I don't get it. But yeah, so Wyoming, Nebraska. So a lot of people thought that this was a real, like, hijacked, and it did a lot of, like, it kind of made the rounds as, like, a real story, just like the Max Headroom one, which was actually real as far as I'm aware. But as time went on, people found out that the Wyoming incident, as they called it, was actually dreamed up by these two guys who worked at the website Something Awful, called Senor Bambos and the Detector. So they were making this as a sort of ARG, like an alternate reality game. And interestingly, I think that because I think it was Nightmind or Nexpo. Those are two, like, really good channels if you want to check those out. They talk a lot about ARGs, creepy videos, like, on YouTube, and, like, they kind of do really, like, in-depth, like, analyses, like, what's going on behind them and shit. And I think it was Nexpo did a 2-volume set on Wyoming Incident, and he kind of talked about the original first videos, and then, like, it kind of went, once everybody kind of found out it was an ARG, like, people were still playing it and, like, trying to figure it out like you do with an ARG, but then it just kind of, like, went off the rails. And I guess like the people, like the two dudes that created it, like, I don't know if they had some kind of falling out, or one of them wanted to go in the one direction and one of them kind of hijacked it and took it in another direction, so it didn't really make any sense. Like, it didn't really seem to have, like, a coherent storyline, so people were kind of getting, like, annoyed because they couldn't figure it out. And then so it kind of went dormant for a little while. But then, as far as I know, I think that in 2017 or 2018, they started up again. So I don't know if it's, like, the same guy, or if it's, like, the same, or if they've, like, figured it out somehow. I'm not really sure, but it's, like, this is one that comes up a lot because people are, like, always trying to figure out, like, what all those... Because, I mean, that's kind of the nature of an ARG, is that, particularly ones that were created, kind of in the early to mid 2000s, very big with, like, fucking binary code and...
You're, like, lost on the path, it says.
Yeah.
If you're on the path, how can you be lost?
Well, see, it's just kind of like Zen. It's like the sound of
man. We got
one hand clapping.
Everybody in the comment sections talking about chicharrones and crackling.
Hey, you guys, we have been watching. Burrito. Have you guys, if you have Netflix in the U.S. at least, I don't know about other countries, but there is a documentary series on there called Taco Chronicles. I think we mentioned it before. And it's like, it's really, really good. It's fascinating. Because, like I said...
Mostly in Spanish with subtitles, but it's real good.
Yeah, well, because, other than when they're in LA, a couple times they go to LA.
Yeah.
and then it's in
whole
English.
history of the tacos, all these different kinds of tacos.
And all different kind of tacos.
Dudes
like
that have reached zen with the making of taco. All kinds of fucking
It's awesome.
clothes.
It's like, I'm really interested, like, I'm not just interested in food because I love to eat, obviously, but it's like, I'm interested in, like, the cultural history of food and, like, how it relates to, like, people in that culture. And the cool thing about Taco Chronicles is that they will talk to these people that have had, you know, like, some of these people have had, like, a taco stand in their families for like 5 generations. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, my great-great-grandma started this fucking taco stand, and it's like they all like worked in it like subsequently. And they're like not, because I feel like if that happened in the US, people would be like, man, I'm not doing that. I want to do my own thing. I'm my own person. But it's like they don't really do that there. That's like, it's very like the tradition was very important to them. And like they're really, really into, like, remember that one that they did? I can't remember what kind of tacos it was, but where they were making everything in copper pots. Yeah. And they were talking about, like, they had this, so they had this oven. Yeah, like, special. They made them, like, one at a time, and he, like, hammered them out by hand and, like, all this stuff. Like, most people don't make them like that anymore. But he had been doing it for, like, 3 or 4 generations, like, his family.
They had transsexual basket tacos.
That's right. Yeah.
Transsexual basket tacos.
She was awesome.
Which is a transsexual ran around selling tacos out of a basket. That was a good story.
I liked the basket tacos show.
Yeah. Also, Mark's saying that it's time to get me to sing Purple Rain. And let me make something clear. I only do shit. There's only 3 reasons why I do shit like sing or take clothes off or any kind of dance and shit. 1, it's got to be a super chat. 2, I got to be half loaded. 3, if I want to do it, sometimes I'll do it for free. But no.
You don't have to be fully loaded.
Yeah, and I don't have
just
to.
Partially
sometimes
loaded.
I'll do it just cause, but no.
Have you? I don't think you've ever taken your. Have you taken your shirt off on this show?
Yeah, they paid me.
That's right.
They paid me.
One time.
They paid me
because you said you would.
They paid me $20 to take my shirt off.
You're a
and fucking
cheapo.
do a quick pose. I did that, and then it came back and says he not as buff as I thought he was. Another dude said, and I said, "Bitch, I'm 51." Give me a couple more years, man. Give me a couple more years. I've only been working for a couple years.
It'll be all right.
But yeah, I would love to sing Purple Rain, but I don't remember all the lyrics.
I don't either, actually. And now it's kind of bothering me.
All I'd be able to do is go, Purple Rain, Purple Rain. That's all I'd be able to do. Yeah, that's all I'd be able to do.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking, because
that was going to cost you.
Well, because now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, well, shit, do I even know any of the words?
No, I don't know any of the words. I like Prince, but I like to listen to Prince. I wouldn't try to sing like Prince. Yeah.
I know the words of a lot of his songs, but not that one.
I'm not a big dude. I'm like 5'6", but Prince was like 5'3", I think. He was little.
He was like my height.
Yeah, he was little. And you got to be trained up, and you've got to have the right size diaphragm. And, you know what I mean, to sound like that. You have to be able to fucking do a little bit of falsetto and shit with your voice, too. Because he used to try to sing sexy, see? It was like an effeminate. He had that bisexual voice.
Yeah,
It was transsexual. It was male and female simultaneously. But it came off as being manly, though, in a weird way.
Well, it's Prince. He can do
Prince.
That. He can do that.
That motherfucker broke all kinds of rules, see?
Just goes to show.
He did. I like Prince. Prince was fucking a great talent.
I still can't believe he died.
Drugs. And drugs are a hell of a drug.
They are.
Well,
I can't believe it.
He was on some kind of what do you call it? A kind of an opioid type drug.
Yeah.
He was addicted to that. Which is funny because dudes that get addicted to that kind of shit, they spend most of their time sleeping. They fucking age beautifully.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Look at all the fucking heroin addicts and stuff like that, man.
As long as
like I said, you either die when you're 25 or you live forever.
As long as they're eating right and have people to take care of them, they're like a vampire. They just spend all the time in a crypt sleeping. And they get up and fucking put on a performance and then they go back to sleep.
Yeah, like I said, look at fucking Iggy Pop and shit like that. Yeah. Holy crap. He's remarkably well preserved.
Steven Tyler stayed pretty.
Nick Cave, like for how old they are, they're like really well preserved.
Wouldn't surprise me if fucking Mick Jagger's a junkie. He's probably a junkie, and he fucking lasted a long time. I mean, shit.
See, that's like it's
20 years ago.
Really tempting me. It's tempting me.
Yeah. No, don't do it.
I'm just kidding.
They're not productive because they just spend so much time sleeping.
I don't know. Some of them seem pretty productive.
I think other people are doing that work for them.
Well, and I think it depends on the person too, because it's just like everything else. Drugs don't affect everyone the same way. So some people that I think that are productive when they're relatively sober might be even more productive, on certain types of drugs, I would think.
When I was in the Detroit, Boston scene, I had friends that fell to heroin and like what happened to Rich and stuff.
Well, I think that you'd have to be like an exceptional person.
You either you become a worthless piece of shit, sleeping your life away and just can't manage your business. That's one thing. Or you do something like what Rich did, get into an argument over the damn volume of fucking the television while he was watching Excalibur and blew his brains out in front of his fucking girlfriend. He was a good dude, an ex-army guy. And he was 50-something years old, and he looked like he was about 30. With all these little 20-something-year-old junkie girlfriends, He was an old goth guy, old school goth guy. He was good, real cool dude. He was a fashion model after he got out of the army. Local to the Boston scene. In the punk rock and goth scene up around in the Rathskeller. There's an old Boston fucking
I think probably the worst thing about drugs, and like I said, I'm not one of those people that's just like, don't do drugs, because it's like, people can kind of within reason can do shit to their to their own bodies, like I said, within
everything
reason,
in moderation. Everything
and it's like in moderation, because I feel like a lot of people do, as long as you don't like do it all the time and it just like gets in the way of like you having a life, I don't really have a problem with it. But I think the worst thing about it is that it exacerbates problems you might already have. Yeah. Like if you are already depressed, if you already have like a mental issue or something like that, it might just make it worse.
I would never recommend heroin ever.
No, I wouldn't either.
Most people that try it...
I'm just kidding. Like, I'm just saying that, like...
No. Most people that try it never really come back from it. They like it. It's real good. If you want to try heroin and don't want to get addicted, just smoke opium. It's a lot milder and you can walk away from that.
And it has, like, similar effects.
Yeah, it's nicer. It's nice smoke. And in certain countries, like I smoked that in the Middle East in a place where it was legal. Like I don't really I try not to break any laws when I'm in the United States, but in Dahab, Egypt, which is like a little fucking Egyptian stoner town, which has gone kind of mainstream recently, but that was where you could get stuff like hashish and opium, and you could
and it's legal there, right? So it's not like
it's legal in that town. It's probably not legal in Egypt.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
In some of those countries, you know what I mean, fucking law is very piecemeal. You can smoke it there, but it's a tourist town.
Well, like I said, it's kind of like Vegas and prostitution in the U.S. Like, pretty much everywhere prostitution is illegal in the U.S. except for parts of Vegas, parts of Reno.
Yeah. During the time I was in Dahab, it was just a bunch of fucking filthy-ass fucking Bedouin tents on the beach with these fucking little ratty-looking restaurants piping out Jimi Hendrix music onto the fucking beach. You sit there getting loaded. There was some Irish fucking street urchin girl fucking... sitting next to me. We were just smoking because she didn't have any money. I think she was a prostitute probably, but she had been in Dahab for about 10 years. Some of her teeth were rotten, and she was wearing Arabic clothing. So she just, according to her, she just went there and stayed.
Well, that's where all the drugs were.
That's where all the drugs were. So we just sit there smoking.
So why leave?
Yeah. She tried to put it on me, and I was like, no, thanks. I didn't know where that bitch was at. Because, you know what I mean? I was fucking, being in the army, you might fucking get kind of thirsty, but you're just not that desperate. You know what I mean? The fucking, your discipline kicks in. You're like, no, not that street urchin. She was cute, though, but you could tell she'd been living on that beach for about 6-7 years, probably. Yeah. She was from Ireland. Yeah.
And just decided to go down there.
She just went to Dahab and never left.
That's fascinating.
And wore out her clothes and just started buying Arabic clothes.
I'm just so fascinated by
people that do
by individual people's like stories like that.
Yeah.
Like that have these like fucking weird stories.
Yeah.
Because especially people that do stuff that I would never like have thought of doing or like would never see myself doing by any stretch.
I didn't ask, but I just got the feeling that she just kind of became a hooker, basically. That's what.
Well, I guess if you were in a country where, you know, you didn't really speak the language or you didn't really fit in or whatever. I mean, you would, if you're a woman, you eventually end up doing that.
And I think she was just there for the fucking,
whether you want to
she was
or
there
not.
for the opium.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Bee's Nest says, no teeth to get in the way. Wink, wink.
She had teeth. She had teeth. It's just that some of them were kind of gray. You know what I mean? I could tell she hadn't brushed her teeth in a while. And there wasn't any running water to speak of in fucking Dahab from what I saw. Yeah. I rented a fucking hotel and it looked like a horse stall.
Yeah.
Concrete and shit. And when I got it, I rented it for like $1. All right? And then fucking when I saw on the inside, I said, fuck that. I slept outside in the sand. It was the same shit. It was more comfortable to just sleep on the sand.
And that's free.
That was free. But, you know, it was only $1.
What you get, what you pay for, right?
Yeah. Because the fucking, the beds were just concrete slabs with like a mat on them that was only like 1/4 of an inch thick, like a piece of foam. It's like something you'd put a horse.
Man, even cave people had better beds.
And, and after I came back from fucking smoking that opium, I was like, I looked at that and I said, man, I don't want to be in here. So I just slept on the fucking beach.
I don't blame you.
And woke up with a fucking old 3-legged dog licking me in the face.
Aw.
Yeah, because they chopped one of the dog's legs off.
Oh, no.
All the fucking dogs, Arabs don't like dogs. They'll kill a dog if it comes within arm's reach. And the dogs ran around in a filthy pack trying to fucking beg for food, you know. Woke up and the dogs fucking licking me on the face like that. And I woke up and then the Arab dudes fucking started laughing at me. Because the dog licked my face. White dude
sleeping out on the fucking sand with a 3-legged dog licking his face.
Yeah, he was the guy who owned the hotel. Or the horse stable, basically. Woke up.
Hey, if it was good enough for Jesus, it's good enough for you.
Yes, exactly. They were trying to get me to sleep in the manger. They were trying to get me sleeping in the manger. I said, fuck that. I went in there and just formed the sand up in a nice position. I had a sand pillow and everything.
Well, like I said, it's probably more comfortable.
It was a lot more comfortable than that fucking slab.
I mean, it's just like, weirdly enough, I don't know how I like end up reading these articles.
Yeah.
But I was reading this article earlier today about people giving their worst like bathroom experiences, like the grossest place you've ever peed or whatever. And you know, a lot of people said shit like CBGBs and stuff like that, which, you know, yeah, I've been in punk clubs. They're pretty fucking disgusting bathrooms. It's like you have to be really, really drunk to use them. But some people were talking about being in like India or Thailand or something, and you know, where the toilets, you know, especially like if you're kind of out in a rural area where the toilet is basically just like a hole in the ground, and you just kind of have to squat over it. And some people are not aiming so good.
They're in there asking if she was British. She says, no, she was Irish.
Yeah.
She was Irish. I remember that clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pale skin, dark hair, short. She was cute. But looked like something out of Star Wars. Looked like something from the Sand People. Been out in that desert a long time, fucking sleeping on that fucking beach. In like fake Arabic clothing that you buy that they sell to the tourists, you know what I mean? Where they have the guys on the fucking those guys will set up, the little merchants will set up little tables anywhere. Try to sell you incense and shit.
Sure.
Sell you fucking weird shit like honey or something, or fucking fake perfume. They'll hand mix perfume and sell it out of a fucking hand-blown glass bottle. It was fucking really cool looking bottles.
Yeah, I've seen those. And they are very nice.
And they'll sell you a copy of like any of your major fucking like, you know, like say you want Obsession. Yeah. They have a copy of that. Yeah. For like a couple of dollars. But it would the smell would last like a long time. It was almost better. They knew how to make it. They'd hand mix it.
Well, like I said, if one person can make it, it's all just chemistry. Like for a while, several years back, I got really interested in like perfume mixing and like read a bunch of books about how to do it and stuff.
Well, they'd also sell clothes. They'd sell tourist clothes to the fucking tourists, you know what I mean? It'd be like Egyptian men's clothing or women's clothing or whatever, you know. White Egyptian dudes wore this white fucking shirt that went all the way down to their ankles. To me, I'm going to tell you it's a shirt.
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I've seen those.
We'd fuck with them and call it a dress, though, too. You know what I mean? Because we'd see them, you know. We're in their country, but we'd still fuck with them. It's like, call it a dress. Like your skirt, you know, that kind of shit, you know.
Well, I bet it's more comfortable than having, like, pants going up.
Yeah,
crawling up your butt.
Sometimes they had pants underneath them anyway.
Yeah.
And, well, they had some women's stuff that was kind of like that. That was, looked like something fucking Mary from the Bible would wear or something, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and put a shawl on and shit. That's what she had on. But she was Irish.
Yeah, okay.
And it was just stuff that people bought her for. And you could get that shit for like $3 or $4. You know?
Yeah, fair enough.
She didn't have anything. She just had that.
Yeah.
That's weird.
She just wore it all the time.
And she just walked around. And I guess when it got dirty, she just fucking bought another one. Asked somebody to buy her another one. Because tourists were constantly in there.
Yeah.
You know? And I was eating, and she just sat down. She just, what you eating?
Food.
Yeah, it was like hummus and shit. She goes, can I have one? I says, yeah, all this shit's cheap, so why not?
Yeah.
You get like hummus for like $1, $2.
Well, she'd been living like that for
She'd been living
years.
like that, so I just got her whatever she wanted, and fucking she's asking me questions and shit, and fucking then she says, you want a hookah? I says, yeah, let's get a hookah. And we started smoking opium.
Yeah.
Yeah, opium.
But there wasn't enough opium to like make you want to hit that.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. What happens is you just start slowing down, and you get more and more relaxed, and everything starts moving faster and faster around you, and you don't care. And it's like smoking liquid grapes. It's like this grape flavored. It's a great fucking tobacco. It tastes like a real heavy grape flavor.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. It's real smooth. You don't cough or anything. Even if you're a non-smoker, you can't cough it. It just goes right in.
Now I want some.
You start moving in slow motion, you get real relaxed. It's just like going under sedation.
Yeah.
You know? And like time becomes meaningless. You could sit there for like 3 or 4 hours and it just didn't mean anything, you know?
It's just like those old movies about opium dens. And
yeah.
Like you go in there and there's be people laying around going, yeah.
Yeah. But the good thing about it though is that when you snap out of it, you're not like, oh, I need more of that. You don't have that sensation. You're like, whoo. You're satisfied. You're like, whoa, that was nice.
Yeah.
And then you just keep going. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
Some of that shit, when it wears off, you instantly want more.
Well, you said that cocaine was
Cocaine
like
will instantly do that. You'll instantly want more. It's very dangerous.
Yeah.
You have to have a good willpower.
But not all drugs are like that. Like some are more like, oh, I need some more right away. Or some are kind of like, oh, every now and then it's like a nice treat, you know?
From what my friends have told me, though, heroin, if you take heroin when you come off of that, you instantly want more.
It does seem like people that I've known that did heroin, it really did seem like most of them were kind of like, they were always...
You'll become a junkie.
Yeah, you were always looking like for the next one.
I wouldn't fuck with it.
Like, because it was so addictive.
Most of the dudes that I knew that were into that shit didn't live long. They were cool when they started, but they were shitbags by the time they died. People didn't like them. And a lot of it had to do with the fact that it was the girls that came along with it.
Yeah.
As soon as you...
Well, you get all the hangers on. Yeah. Like, hey, you got drugs.
As soon as you get involved with that heroin, all of a sudden you get real good looking. All these fucking women that are into this shit fucking appear, and you know, and as long as you have that heroin, they're around you, you know. And that's kind of a seductive lifestyle, I guess.
I guess so.
For some guys.
For some people.
Me, I was indifferent to that. I was popular with women without that. I didn't need it.
I was never really into drugs. I was never really into drinking until I got older. But I know, because I knew some people that were into it, but it's like, it was just never really something. I wasn't like super judgy about it. It's just like nothing that really appealed to me.
There are people that we know from the scene that if I was involved in drugs, they'd be fogging up on me. They're girls that you know. Because it's not real obvious when you're talking to them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or who it is. I ain't going to say on the show.
Well, yeah, you better not.
But,
we're going to get in trouble.
Yeah, I'm going to say on the show. But there's some of them, well, you know, if I fucking was into meth or crystal or some shit like that, then that one and that one and that one, or fucking this one's into the... They give you little codes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they ask you about it.
Well, yeah, they're trying to like figure out
trying to
who's
see if you
got
have
the
it.
shit.
Yeah.
Who's got the shit.
Yeah.
It's
and
like,
if you're a man that has it, and all of a sudden you're fucking, you go from a 7 to an 11. Oh, okay, yeah.
He's got drugs.
He's got that. Yeah, he's got the drugs. These people in the comments know.
Yeah.
They know the deal.
I mean, like I said, it's, you know, I like every now and then.
Says, Tom just got in and Tom is talking about drugs. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just went on a drug sidetrack.
It's like I'm not super into like drugs, but you know, I've done a few, but it's like, it's never really anything that I'd want to do all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't even really like weed all that much. That just, that made me feel paranoid. And like my life was flashing by and like everybody was like looking at me and I'm like, yeah, I feel like that without weed. I don't really need that exacerbated things.
Michael Schaefer says, who wants to do the work to hit something when you're on opium? Yeah, you don't want to do the work. you're indifferent.
That's what I mean. I feel like that's kind of a more thing of like just a chill. Like I'm
ultimate
just
chill. Ultimate chill stuff.
Which I like the sound of that more than...
Ultimate chill, and it doesn't immediately start calling you back.
Yeah. See, that's what appeals to me, that kind of thing. I need things that, like, are relaxing.
Yeah.
I don't need stuff that induces anxiety. I don't need shit that makes me, like, go faster or, like, think about more stuff. I don't need that. I already have that.
You'd like that one. Problem is that it used to be legal in the United States, and then what ended up happening is you had opium dens everywhere. Because given the choice, there's certain kinds of people that would just sit there and smoke that shit all fucking day.
Yeah.
And then it's just the fabric of society starts breaking down.
Well, yeah, because everybody's just laying around going, feeling good.
Yeah, you got 30% of the people just laying around fucking telling the other people to feed them and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can understand why it's illegal.
I mean, Michael says food tastes better on weed, but see, I don't really need that problem either because then I would just like get even fatter because I would just be like eating more all the time. Because it's like I want to eat everything because everything's delicious. So
I never liked weed.
That's what I mean. I've done it a few times and it's just like, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm not, like I said, it probably affects other people in other ways because I've heard like a lot, different people telling me different things, but to me, it just made me more anxious and more and paranoid and I didn't like it. Like, and it made like everything like go by really fast. Like I felt like I was missing a bunch of stuff. I'm like, hey, that was just, I was just doing that. And then like already it's like 10 minutes later and like I didn't know where that 10 minutes went and I didn't like that. Because I felt like I was like losing track of time and I was losing track of what was going on. And I didn't really like that feeling. So, all right, let me get back to this a minute.
Yeah, get back to the thing.
All right, so let me...
John is saying Americans are always are scared of getting sued, but in Mexico, they just kick your ass. That's starting to develop here, too, now in the past couple of months. People just kicking each other's asses or setting their houses on fire. Go ahead.
Yeah, Beesness says weed gives me a panic attack. Yeah. I kind of had the same... Not quite a panic attack, but it was not pleasant. It was like not a pleasant experience.
Feels like everybody's watching you.
Yeah, I just felt like everyone was looking at me and it's like, I just like shit was going by really fast. I'm like, what happened to this? What am I doing? It's like, you know what I mean? I didn't like it.
If you take LSD, they're watching you and then you put on a performance.
I didn't feel like I was being
rays coming out of them.
I didn't feel like I was being watched on LSD. I actually really liked LSD because good, I didn't feel like people were watching me, but I did feel like and I think I remember telling you this too. I said, I know now, because I used to like make fun of hippies and stuff like it. Not in a mean way, but like, thank you, cool kitty. Thank you.
Thank you, cool kitty.
But, just hippies is like, oh, we're all one with the universe, blah, blah, blah. But like when I did LSD, I'm like, oh, I get what they're talking about now. I got it.
Yeah, one with the universe and all that.
Because that's exactly what you feel like. You feel like, and you feel like everything is okay and like everything's going to be all right.
You got to set the stage for that one. And I want to go to Mexico and go do that ayahuasca.
I wouldn't mind doing that, but I don't like all the feeling of like feeling sick and vomiting.
I don't give a shit about smoke.
See, I don't like feeling like vomiting. I don't like that.
Yeah, diarrhea and vomit. I don't care. I want to go talk to some of them alien souls. Talk to alien souls. Alien robotic souls and weird shit that they're talking about.
Michael says we're all looking at you, Jenny. I know.
Yeah.
I try to pretend like you're not.
Yeah.
I don't mind. That's all right. But yeah, so speaking of people looking at people, I wanted to talk about this fucking... I don't know if you guys know about this dude's channel. So this dude has a YouTube channel. His name is Benjamin Bennett. And he started uploading videos... I think he started in 2013, and all of his videos, and he's posted like a shit ton of them. I can't remember how many there are. It's like at least 100, maybe more. All of his videos are like at least 4 hours long, and every single one of them is him sitting cross-legged on his apartment floor, staring at the camera and smiling and not moving for 4 hours. And he's just like sitting there doing that.
I heard about this guy.
So yeah, so it's this whole thing. I think I have a picture of him. He's like super creepy looking. Do I have a picture of him somewhere? Yeah, right there. So he just sits there and does that for 4 hours every single day. And he posts a video every single day.
He needs to repaint his room, man.
I know, it looks like a...
I'm expecting a rat to run by.
Well, the funny thing about it is, like, okay, so he's been asked, like, because it's his real name and everything like that. So people have asked him, this is his sitting and smiling series. So he did get asked, like, what the fuck? Like, why are you doing that? Like, are you a crazy person? And he basically said, well, when I first got on YouTube in 2013, I noticed that no one had a channel like this.
Yeah.
Which...
So he's just going to
I wonder why that is. So I'm just going to fill that niche, right, I guess. Yeah. And also, I guess that it was some kind of, like, weird, like, art project, like an endurance test, kind of. Like, if he could actually just sit there and, like, not move. Like, he blinks and shit. Yeah. But it's like he just sits there and smiles at the camera for 4 hours and doesn't move. And he, so he said that it's like all he does is he just drinks some water before he starts filming, and then he goes to the bathroom, and then he just sits there and does it. Except in one of the videos, I can't remember what number it was, but one of the videos, I guess he'd forgotten to go to the bathroom beforehand, so he actually does pee himself. You can see, like, the pee coming out from underneath him.
Nasty.
So, yeah. And my favorite, and I think this was somewhere around, like, sitting and smiling number 51 or 52, I can't remember exactly, but it was the one where somebody broke into his apartment while he was sitting there, and he totally does not react.
Damn.
He just sits there staring at the camera, smiling. You can see the door, like, the rattle, and then it opens behind him. And apparently the person that broke in, like, kind of came in and, like, looked and saw what was going on, was like, nope. And just got the fuck out. Dang. It was so fucking funny. Because he didn't move. He didn't look. He didn't jump. He wasn't startled or nothing. He just sat there and stared. And it's, like, super creepy. So I went to his channel, like, a couple days ago. And I don't know if he does that series anymore. Like, he did however many 100 videos there were, but they're all called that. Sitting and Smiling number 1, Sitting and Smiling number 2, or whatever. And he did, like, a whole bunch of series of those. And then now he has a new series, which I think is called Walking and Talking or something like that. And I think it's, like, him just, like, I'm not sure what it is, but it's like him walking around in the woods, like, saying something or other. I didn't really watch any of them. But so I don't think he does the Sitting and Smiling series anymore. But he did, like, 200 something of those. Something like that. Maybe even almost 300 of him just sitting there every single day for 4 hours, staring and smiling at the camera. Can you fucking imagine?
Yeah.
And then him just, like, peeing on the floor, and then somebody breaking into the apartment, and him, like, he didn't even flinch. He didn't even flinch. Like, when somebody came in, he was just sitting there.
Yeah, I'm not into it.
It was, like, really disturbing. It was really disturbing.
I'm not feeling it.
I'm just saying, that, like, creeped me out. That creeped me out more than, like, the ghost videos and shit like that, because that's commitment.
Well, that's just his...
That's commitment.
That's his fault. He's peeing in his pants and shit. He should have fucking took a leak before he did the show. If you ask me, he's probably doing it on purpose just to get more hits. That's probably part of his show. Well, I'm trying to bet the break-in was staged.
It might have been. And, like, because he really did... I don't see how, like, anyone who wasn't medicated...
Yeah.
Could just, like, not
react. Broke into my house,
I'd
I'd jump up, start fighting, and get you out of here.
That's what I mean. I'm like, if I'm here by myself, which I'm not usually, because you're usually here, but if I'm here by myself, and I hear, like, the dryer or the dishwasher makes a funny noise, I'm, like, jumping up going, like, who the fuck is that? I'm stabbing your ass. You know what I mean?
I give you guns.
Well, yeah, he does have the guns in here, so you know what I mean. But we live in a safe neighborhood. I'm not really all that worried about it.
But we're keeping it safe.
I don't know if we're keeping it safe. It's just kind of like...
Okay, I'm keeping it safe.
No, I'm just saying that it was kind of, like, safe before we get it. But, yeah, it's like... So, I don't know. This really, like... The thing about YouTube, and especially, I guess, like, the longer it goes on, and the more people are trying to get noticed. Like, especially if you, like, come up with an ARG. Because, shit, man, it's like... I really like the idea of ARGs, and I've... toyed around with the idea of doing one myself, but it's like there are so many that you really need to do something different to, have it stand out from everything else. So it's like, I mean, I admire his, like, shtick because nobody else thought of doing that. I mean, it's, like I said, it's a big commitment to your art just to sit there for 4 hours a day and, like, not move and just, like, stare. I wouldn't want to do that, but... he got like kind of known for doing it. I don't know if he went on to do other things and like, you know, was kind of, but his name is kind of known and we're talking about him. So I guess that means something, right?
Yeah, they're asking me about the 1911. I haven't had a 1911 since the 90s. I had an old Springfield one. Now I'm on to like bigger and better things. I like fucking Walthers, Smith & Wesson. I like the fucking Smith & Wesson EZ. That's fucking... It's like a 1911, real slim line. 9, real easy to rack, slide back. Pretty neat. I like most of the Walther series. P99. See what else. Yeah, that's all I'm going to talk about. Bunch of AR-15s, AKs. I got some shit. Neat shit. You'd love it.
Neat shit.
Yeah, most of it all stuff I built. Next one I'm going to build is I'm going to build a What Would Stoner Do 2020. It's what would Eugene Stoner do? Eugene Stoner used a plastic lower. They're working on that. Look at plastic lower, Faxon upper, the fucking Faxon slimline fucking barrel with the integral fucking flash suppressors on it. 16 inches. Fucking upper with fucking no forward assist. Carbon fiber handguards, free floating barrel. That self-contained buffer, one with the fucking self-contained piston. Probably Faxon fucking chrome bolt carrier group and bolt. Mid-length gas system, flat top. Probably with something like a SIG red dot. You know the deal. Now I'm trying to get like a 4-pound rifle. That's what I'm looking for. It's gonna be fucking badass. With the fucking TLR-1 fucking match trigger, drop in. So that's what's coming now. Go ahead, Jenny.
Pepper says, Jenny, please make an ARG. I actually do want to, because I'm really into like multimedia. Because you know, I really like designing board games and shit like that, and I like the idea of doing something multimedia that appears to be real or appears to be, you know, that kind of thing. So I have been like looking at, I have like a bunch of other projects I got to finish first, including our cookbook. But after that, that's my next big project that I want to get into. I really want to do something like that because I love that idea. But like I said, there's so many out there trying to get noticed that you really have to, I really want to make it good. So I really want to like think of like an angle that no one's really done before or that hasn't been done all that much so people will notice it. I don't know. So the next thing I want to talk about is, I guess she technically wasn't discovered on YouTube, but I think her shit's kind of on there now, is Chip Chan. Now, you guys don't know who Chip Chan is. She is this Korean woman. No one's entirely sure how old she is. Now, her videos first started going up. It was like a webcam. And it first started going up in 2008, I think it was. And I think it originally, it was on 4chan, I think. And somebody like discovered it on there. Now, this is a woman. No one knows quite how old she is. But she's basically just in her apartment. And the webcam is like filming her. Like pretty much all the time. Because a lot of the time she's just sleeping and stuff. But apparently she thinks that she has been implanted with a mind control weapon, and she thinks that she's being held hostage by a corrupt police officer who she just calls P, and that when she sleeps or when the camera is not on him or whatever, like he comes in and like fucks with her and stuff. And so she'll like be in her apartment. Like I said, most of the videos are just her sleeping, but when she's awake, she'll put up like all these signs, you know what I mean? Like around her apartment so you can read them. And like I said, I can't read Korean, so I don't know like what they say, but they're all kind of like this, where it's like she'll put all these signs up that say all these kind of like weird warning things. And so she first started like streaming, or like her webcam like went up on 4chan in 2008. And so then people started like watching it, because I think when the webcam first started, like she was sleeping through most of it, and like when people would watch it, they just saw this woman and they thought maybe she was dead. So they, you know, because she sleeps a lot, so they kind of started like looking into like investigating. Now somebody from 4chan, I believe, like found her, she had a blog like on WordPress, And apparently she had like a whole bunch of other ones, and that's where she was telling the whole story about the mind implanting. And apparently it's like, she says that the mind implanting thing is like in her ankle. I guess it was like implanted in her ankle. And there's also a chip like under her left eyebrow that she thinks that somebody put there.
She's tripping.
I think she might have schizophrenia.
Yeah.
Because that's like a pretty common thing that schizophrenics say, that they think that someone is controlling
Alien implants.
them. And they have like implants like from the government or from aliens or something like that, or somebody's watching them or telling them what to do. So it's weird because she has all these webcams, and it's not just one, it's like a whole bunch of them. Like they're all over her apartment, and all of her rooms have all these like signs that are written in Korean, like I said. And she tells the people like on her videos about P, this policeman who supposedly comes in there. Although as far as I know, no one's ever seen anybody coming in or out of the apartment other than her. But she says he comes in there and like does things. So like I said, she'll sleep for like 12 hours at a time, and she just gets like these fucking rashes, and she gets like these and she'll take pictures of like weird wounds on her skin and all this other kind of stuff, like it's implants and all this shit. And she's been doing this for like fucking years and years and years. Now, I think that over the years, like that these web streams have been going, I think she has left the apartment a few times, so it's not like she's just in there all the time. And she has moved, like, you know, she has moved to like different apartments, but then she sets up webcams in the new apartment and then just starts like doing this over again. And so people will like chat with her on her live streams, but she doesn't answer. But if you email her, she apparently will answer. So like I said, as far as I know, this is still going on. She's still been going on, you know, like all this time since 2008. And I don't know. No, people are trying to like figure out if she has somebody to take care of her, because she clearly has some mental issues. But like I said, even though the webcam seems to be going all the time, no one really sees anybody come in there. Like, so I don't really know if anyone's taking care of her, if she's getting any kind of like mental health care or anything like that, because she definitely does seem like she has some problems. But like a lot of people got like really interested in this girl because it was just like this fucking weird webcam of like this girl just like sleeping all the time and then just like sitting in there like talking about the fucking, it's like super weird.
Hold on 1 second.
What was that?
They're trying to get me sidetracked on guns. This isn't a gun channel. I'm not gonna ask.
You can if you want. It's like I said, this is.
They're going on about fucking Tommy guns. Tommy guns are too heavy. They're too old. It's not a modern firearm. Just the way the magazines work, the way the drums work, very heavy. Fucking, it's just not modern. And the class 3 is only $200. Doesn't cost as much as you think it does. They're easy to get that now. You just have to know how to do the paperwork. There's just so much good shit out there in terms of submachine guns. 9mm is the way to go. 45 is just not really the way to go anymore. Not so much because of the round, but just because of the fucking firearms that go with it. Fucking 200 rounds of 45 weighs a lot more than 200 rounds of 9mm, you know. It's just not really a modern load. 40 and hot loads of 40s better than 9 and 45. 45 is blown out of proportion of what it really is. It's not really good at armor defeating, you know, anti-armor. It's got a lot of downsides to 45. And the Tommy gun is the last thing you want nowadays. They got some fucking really great 3-pound fucking 9mm submachine guns that are just fucking awesome. It's just very obsolete, those old things. Okay, go ahead. You see them in the movies. They look cool in the movies. You know, this old gangster gun. If you pick that thing up, it is heavy as shit. And slow to reload. Very uncontrollable. The controllability is not that good. It's just a very archaic way of doing it. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Do you want to do a commercial break now? Because we're at 2 hours and 20 minutes.
I've actually used the restroom.
Okay, so I'll just do a couple of commercials. Okay. Well, one commercial and a Pookie video.
Okay.
And then we'll be back in a few minutes. Where's my damn commercial at? Here I go. There it is. All right, hold on. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. You love true crime. I love true crime. and I've spent the last 3 years compiling a series of the most intriguing unsolved murders of the 20th century. It's called The Faceless Villain, and Volume 3 is available now. Featuring such fascinating cases as the Cady murders, the Carrie Babies case, the Frog Boys, the Alcasar murders, and the Inokashira Park dismemberment incident, The Faceless Villain Volume 3 is an involving exploration of unsolved slayings spanning the years from 1980 to 1999. Pick up your copy in print or ebook formats on Amazon, or download the audiobook version from audible.com, and get ready for a chilling journey through modern crime history.
Look at this. Look at this. Pookie. Pookie, hey. Chew that. Hey. 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 Chew this instead. Chew that. Chew that. Chew that. There you go. Chew that. See? It's super fun. It's super fun. Yeah. Nope. Poke. Please stop. Please stop chewing that. Please stop chewing that. Please stop chewing that. Well, what do you expect? What do you expect? She's sitting on the keyboard and it's making a horrible noise. Please stop. Okay. Look at it. What's she doing to my Photoshop? Yeah. You didn't give a single shit, did you? Well, what'd you get in your mouth then? Silly. You need to stuff in your mouth you're chewing on shit you're not supposed to be chewing on. Hey, how about this? Like you wanted soft thing? Also, I have a chicken stick. I think. This is a chicken stick. You want that? You want that? You're just gonna knock it off the fucking end of the thing and stare at it, aren't you? I know how you operate. Yep, there it goes. Where'd your little soft chewy go? Where's your little soft chewy? Oh, man. Yep. You're such a troublemaker. You're such a troublemaker. Yeah, I know. She's like, Mommy, help me out. Well, you're the one that dropped it. You're the one that dropped it. Yeah. You're like a little goat. You just want to eat everything. Just wants to eat everything. Yeah, you're chewing it. Get it in your little mitten. Get it in your little mitten. Yeah. It's fun, right? Fun. You done with that? You done with that or you want more? No, you just want to rub on it? Okay. That's fair enough. Yeah, you gonna chew it? You gonna chew it? Yeah. Oh, that's okay. Mommy's got it. Just don't bite my fingers. Don't bite my fingers. What'd you do with your little soft one? What's that? What is that? It's okay, that was just Mommy's tummy. She's getting hungry because it's lunchtime. Yeah. You rubbing on it? You rubbing on it? She's like, give me that back. Give me that back. Oh, okay. Here. Here. Which one? You want the hard one or the soft one? You can have both of them. Yes. You can have both of them. Pick them up with your little hand. No, you lost interest? Okay. Where are you going? Look, I'm going to film your butt. I'm going to film your butt. There it is. No, and now she's chewing that. Don't make me spray you with lemon juice, Pookie. Yeah. Oh, you heard that. Hey. Hey. Mommy's gonna get the Febreze out. I don't really spray her with Febreze. She's just scared of the bottle. Okay, bye. Yeah, where you going? Okay. What does Bach think of that?
I was just laughing at that Pookie video. I took that earlier. I didn't realize that it was that long.
Yep.
She is like, I have a bottle of Febreze in here that I don't spray her with it because that would be mean. But she knows that it makes a hissing noise because she's heard me spray it like other places. So all I have to do is bring the bottle out and go, uh-oh, and she's like, oh shit, and then she runs away. So that's how I get her to like stop chewing on things, is I just show her the Febreze bottle. Chloe says, hey everyone, first time I've made it to a live cast. Hey, welcome. We're already pretty,
Who said that?
hammered at this point.
Oh,
Chloe R, do you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How you doing, Chloe?
That table is now definitely Pookie's. Everything is Pookie's. She just...
Yeah, she's fucking Pookie Pants. Will you fucking stop it? Come here. I had to call her Pookie Pants. I had to pull the pants up. Leave Spock alone. She's calling on Spock. Don't do it. No. She knows what no means. She doesn't understand why he's standing there. He doesn't move. Don't bite him.
She's like, plus it makes a cool sound when I do it with my claws. Because she really, really digs, like, scraping on things, like on paper and stuff with her claws. She's like, oh, what a cool noise that makes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you all right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, what? Calling attention to me burping?
Well, I'm just making sure because that's the kind of thing, like when we're out clubbing and we've drank a lot and he starts doing this, like his soul's going to escape from his body. That's how you know when he's like having
That's when I'm starting to astrally project. I start.
Yeah. he's like trying to keep his soul back in there.
Getting it back in.
Keep it from flying around.
Yeah.
You'll be all right. You'll make it.
Yeah, I'm doing good.
All right.
I turned that down. I turned that pulled pork onto low. Onto like.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to heat that back up and slow cook that so when we get off the show, make us like a little burrito or something.
Oh my God. What are you doing?
Stop beating up Spock. Come here. Come here. How you doing?
She's being bad.
Leave things alone.
She's like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, it's the same in that video. Doing that same shit.
That's
walking around biting things and trying to push things over.
Sitting on mommy's computers.
And trying to claw things and grabbing the tops of books and pulling the books out of the shelf.
Yeah.
She's fucking like a little monkey. Leave it alone.
Well, she's always trying to get attention. That's all.
She knows I'm going to stop her. That's why she does it.
Yeah, she's like, she's not dumb.
Yeah.
All right. So next video, let's talk about the so-called Plague Doctor video, also known as 11BX1371. So let me find that, cue that one up. So here's this little video, right? I'm going to turn this down because it's kind of loud and I don't think there's any sound that's worth seeing. So this is one that kind of made the rounds. Now this was initially not posted to YouTube. This was initially sent to a Swedish tech blog in 2015. And that website subsequently put it up on YouTube or made it public or whatever. Now, the weird thing about this video, like, not only is the creepy image of the plague doctor and everything, but also, I guess there are a whole bunch of, like, ciphers and different, like, codes and shit embedded in this video. And if you figure them out, like, a lot of people on Reddit are, like, super into, like, figuring out all these, like, weird coded videos and shit that people post. They kind of go to, like, really disturbing imagery, like mutilated bodies and all this other kind of shit. Now, apparently, some of the imagery in this video that's encrypted in this video goes to...
Stop it, Pookie. No.
What are you doing?
Tearing all your shit out.
Yeah.
Tearing out all your hair stuff.
Oh, yeah. She does that. She's like, hey, because my hair brush
Pookie Pants, you come here. Pookie Pants, you come here. Stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's going like, fuck you, Dad. And her fucking tail's wagging like this. Crazy.
Well,
okay, look.
Because you're talking to her.
She does this so I react.
Yeah.
She'll go up and beat on the damn window shades in the morning and then looking at me. You gonna come stop me? Fucking cat, man. She's fucking hilarious. Oh, look. They keep asking me questions I'm gonna answer.
Okay.
They ask me about the P90. No, fuck the P90. All right. Best sub gun going right now, depending on what kind of lower, if you're using full auto or semi-auto trigger package. Best thing going right now, if it's set up right, a CMMG Banshee. You can look at that, the Banshee, which is an AR-15 style rotary delayed blowback upper. That's complicated, but that's the best thing going, just because of the modularity.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, okay.
No more guns. Stop asking me
I
about fucking
wasn't sure
guns.
if you were done or not.
Yeah, stop asking me about fucking guns. Too drunk for guns.
Oracle says Pookie has Tom well trained. She does indeed.
Yes, she does.
She is very smart.
Yeah.
She knows exactly how to like manipulate.
Yeah.
She decided like for a while she likes to go out on the back porch, like out on from the sliding glass door. But now she decided she likes to go on the front porch. So what she'll do though is she'll go to like the sliding glass door in our bedroom and we'll kind of scrape on it and then turn around and go Eek! And then you go up to let her out and she's like nope, and then she runs, but then she runs to the front door. So she's like telling you that she wants to go out the other door. She's like, I want to go outside, but not here. I want to go over there. So she's like really good at communicating. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So yeah, so like I said, this Plague Doctor video, which is over now, the encryption in it like led to all these like really weird like mutilated victims. Also kind of had some link to the Boston Strangler investigation. Also, some people have said that maybe it's like a bioterrorism threat, like maybe encoded. Although some people have said maybe it's just a prank, or maybe somebody's just making it as an ARG, like I said, like to be mysterious or creepy or whatever. And then somebody, like this guy named Parker Wright, came forward and said that he was the one that created the video. But nobody knows if that's true or not. So, like I said, this is kind of another one where you're not really sure like where the fucking genesis of these videos are. So the next one I want to talk about, I think I talked about this one a little bit on one of our creepy disappearances shows, because this video right here, which is usually just listed as 112 Dirtbag, is just, I mean, the video itself is not necessarily creepy, because if you look, it's just kind of like an old dude laughing. But the creepy thing about this video is the backstory. Now, 8 years after Maura Murray disappeared in 2004, and we talked about her on one of our creepy disappearances shows, this video came online. Now, the name of this video was Happy Anniversary, and the username was Mr. 112 Dirtbag. Now, okay, so in February of 2004, they found Maura Murray's wrecked car on Route 112 in New Hampshire, and she has never been found. Now, when the video came up, interestingly, because the video was called, 112 Dirtbag, her car was found on 112, and her dad had gone in the, on the news and called the person that took her a dirtbag. So some people were speculating that this was the dude that took her, because he called the video Happy Anniversary and he posted it like on an anniversary like of her disappearance. So police were very interested, and they started like looking into who this dude was and shit like that. And I think he posted a couple of other videos. Like one of them, he was doing something really mundane, like ironing or something like that. And then he was like singing along. And it was like super, super creepy, because he's just like this creepy old dude. And I guess like the cops eventually like figured out who he was, but I don't know if he had anything to do with the disappearance or they didn't have enough evidence. But the fact that he posted it and it was just a video of him laughing, and it was called Happy Anniversary, like on the anniversary of her disappearing. And it was like right around the same area. So it's like, so a lot of people like kind of thought it was related, but I don't think they were ever able to like find any evidence that it was related to her disappearance or not. And they've still never found her. Like, you know what I mean? So I think like I mentioned it on when we talked about Maura Murray, like on one of our, I can't remember what disappearances show it was. It was like the first one or the second one. I can't remember, because we've done like 3 at this point. Now, another thing, now you gave me this idea. This isn't exactly a YouTube video, but it's kind of like adjacent. So, because you told me about the case that you heard on that Wang channel.
Yeah, Wang did a real good job about a fucking
WHANG!
Yeah.
Exclamation point.
Yeah.
That's the name of the channel.
Which I don't know if he's Chinese or American or Korean American, but he's cool as fuck. Little bitty dude, long fucking like long hair and all like look like something out of damn Star Trek. Looks like something out of a fucking film about Mongolian warriors. All right? And he does a real good show. And I actually recommend Wang to subscribe to him. He comes up with some weird things like, fucking like mystery songs from the 80s and nobody knows who made them and they're still trying to figure out who made that song. Or videos about girls from back in the 90s who were farting on cakes. And that shit went viral.
We were talking all about the cake farting.
Weird
on the
shit,
birthday show.
Yeah, just weird shit from the past. That's weird mysteries. So I like Yang.
Well, he has a whole series called Tales from the Internet, which is where this
Right.
video came from.
Yeah, and I saw this on Wang, and it's about Mississippi, and I was really interested in this one, so I recommended it to Jenny. I said, Jenny, maybe we talk about that fucking case that supposedly took place in Mississippi, because it was creepy. Turns out it was not real, but it was fucking creepy.
Well, what ended up happening was that...
Hold on 1 second before we go. These bitches in the goddamn... The Spaz 12 is obsolete. It was cool back in the 80s, all right? But fucking AK shotguns fucking beat it. They got all kinds of new semi-auto magazine-fed shotguns that are faster to reload, that are fucking more modularity, better optics. You guys are bringing up these old Terminator 1 shotguns and Terminator 1 shit. You know what I mean? That was the 80s, bro. Fuck the Spaz. There's new shit. There's new shit out. You got to change with the time. Read now I almost said Zatoichi.
Yeah, and
you need to fucking listen to Musashi. Okay, Musashi tells you to stay on top of weapons craft. New shit comes out, figure out if it's good or not. Throw away the old stuff. There's a lot of good shit. A lot of good shit's come out new shit that I wished we had back in service.
Yeah.
It's real good. 80s guns were guns of their time. All right, so they're in a lot of action movies, but they don't translate to the modern world anymore. Okay, now let's go back. Now let's get off that subject. You bitches stop.
I forgot to mention we were talking about the 112 dirtbag case about the Maura Murray. In the videos, he also refers to, he also makes references to two more disappearances, which was Molly Bish, who was 16. Now, her body was found, so she was murdered. And also a 10-year-old named Patrick McCarthy. And they were all in, like, Massachusetts. So, like I said, they were trying to find this guy, like, in relation to those. But, yeah, so you mentioned to me, like, we were in the car coming back from the grocery store or whatever, and you said, you know, Wang did this thing about this case in Mississippi, which... turned out to be like it was about this girl that got kidnapped and murdered, except it turned out it wasn't real. So I was kind of looking into it. I couldn't really find it. And like Wang has like 50 bajillion videos. So he finally found it and sent it to me. Now, what you didn't tell me, which would have actually helped a lot if you had told me this little detail, but that it had to do with the band Slipknot. Not like that they killed anybody, but it was just like a reference to them. So basically Slipknot on one of their albums, they had a song, and I think there were two songs on there initially, but the one that I'm thinking of, I think it was called Purity, and it was supposedly based on this supposedly true murder case that showed up on this website, which, what is it called? True Crime? No, it's not called truecrimes.com. It's called like crimesomething.com. And it was this old website, and there was apparently this case on there about this girl named Purity Knight who was kidnapped. Now, her sister had been killed prior to that, like had been murdered, I think, or had died some other way.
Hold on, before you keep on going. There's something about this case that really, when I first heard the name Purity Knight, my ears perked up, because in Mississippi, there's a huge clan of what's called Knight families. There's a lot of Knight.
Well, that's a pretty common last name.
Yeah, but it was real common in Mississippi. They were important. They were like shit from the Free State of Jones era.
Yeah.
You know, fucking with old, what's his name? Shit. I'm drunk. I can't remember the dude's name now. Fucking, go ahead, keep going. I'll remember his name.
Yeah, so...
They led a revolt against the Union and the Confederacy, because the county that my family came from, Jones County, we fought the Republic, we fought the Union and the Confederacy.
They hated everybody.
It was... Yeah. Newt Knight.
they made a movie about that.
Yeah, Newt
It was
Night.
called The Free State.
Yeah, Newt Night. And
I haven't seen it, but I
there
saw
were
it
nights.
advertised.
There were nights where were fucking a famous family in our county, and my dad knew Knights and was related with Knights, and Knights were a trip, and you know what I mean. Fucking, there's a fucking certain accent and everything that goes along with that whole county. If you guys have ever heard of the Hodge twins, it's these two bodybuilders, and they're kind of biracial looking. The way they talk is exactly the way my dad talks and all his friends talk. And it's because during the Civil War, there was no segregation. You had sharecroppers all bred together, whether they were white or black. There was a lot of that going on. People think all these Jim Crow laws and racial segregation, that happened after, a long time after. So people are very confused about the history of the South. But go ahead, Jenny, go.
So this case, so Slipknot had a song called Purity, and it was supposedly based on this case that they had read about and they thought was a real case. There was this girl named Purity Knight in Mississippi, and it was this county, and I can't pronounce it.
Where do you have it written down there?
No, I don't have it written down,
Okay.
but it's like I don't have any notes.
What I was
on this.
getting at is that the Knights were mixed. They were mixed going back to the Civil War era. But that's why I brought all that up. Go ahead, Jenny.
So, so he had been reading about this case, and they thought it was a real case. So apparently, this girl, Purity Knight, had a sister, I think whose name was Ashley, if I'm remembering it correctly, and she had been either died or murdered or whatever. And then this girl apparently got kidnapped and was put in like a cage and like kept there for a very long time. And then there was a whole story about she was being kept in this cage and she almost escaped because she had written, there was like a little boy and he'd been in the woods, like where her cage was, because I guess it was like buried like in a box in the woods or whatever. And so like the boy actually kind of found her. So she was kind of like, kind of fucked up, but she was still alive. And she wrote a note and she's like, hey, can you take this, to whoever? And it's like, have him save me and tell him where I am and shit. So then like this boy who's like 9 years old and he wanders off, and the story goes that like then another guy came and said, oh, I'll take the note to whoever it's supposed to go to. And that guy never took it. And then she ended up dying. So this whole thing was on this website. And it was like, I wish I could remember the name of it. It's truecrimes.com or something like that. It's been like around for a really long time. So everything was on there. There was a cop statement. There was like all kind of like real official looking documentation. There was photographs and all this kind of stuff. So the dude from Slipknot, whose name escapes me at the moment because I was never a big Slipknot fan, but he apparently thought this case was real, and he wrote at least 2 songs about it, and it was on one of their albums. So then later on, it turned out when they re-released the album, like as a digipack or something like that, those 2 songs were not on there anymore. And then everyone started like asking questions about it. And then it turned out that they didn't have to take the songs off, but they were asked to take the songs off because of quote unquote copyright infringement. At which point people started investigating and finding out that this crime that the songs had supposedly been based on was not a real crime at all, but was a fictional crime made to look like a real crime, which apparently was the whole thing that this website traded in, which I guess Slipknot did not know at this point. And maybe a lot of people didn't know that because, like I said, like many, alternate reality games, the whole thing behind it is that you want it to be as realistic as possible. So a lot of people did actually think that this was a real crime that took place. Now, the clue that should have clued people in was that the county where this crime supposedly took place was a fictional county, which was created by very famous Southern Gothic writer William Faulkner. Now, so it was not a real county. So if anyone had looked up the name of that county at any point, they would have seen that it was a fictional county that was created by William Faulkner, and that probably would have clued them in. And I think that's eventually what ended up, cluing people in that this wasn't actually a real thing that had happened. So this was not a real crime that took place. And so what ended up happening was that they ended up having to I don't think that Slipknot got sued, but they got threatened with legal action because the website was like, hey, this is our story and it's fiction. So you writing a song about it is copyright infringement. So I think what they ended up doing was that they took the songs off the album, you know, until they could get it all sorted out. I don't know if they actually went to court about it. Doesn't seem like they did.
It's kind of a bitch move when you think about it.
It is kind of.
That's a bitch move. I think I would have let Slipknot fucking talk about that.
Well, and the thing about it, though, is that I don't know a huge amount. Like I said, I'm not a huge Slipknot fan, but from what I understand, the lyrics of it were pretty generic, because I think he had kind of, like, written the lyrics before he even read that. And I think he just later went and, like, named the song Purity, like, after her. But the song was just kind of like a generic murder kind of song, like, that couldn't really be, you know, associated with that necessarily. Like, he wasn't using so many. So I don't think it ever went to court. I just think they took the songs off the, you know, album momentarily, like, temporarily, just so they wouldn't get into trouble. But I think later on they
If I remember correctly, the funny thing about it is that it was supposedly taking place in a county or a town that sounded like it existed in Mississippi, but it didn't, did it?
I just said 2 minutes ago that it was a fictional county, that was made up by William Faulkner, the writer William Faulkner.
That's right, yeah.
And I said if anybody had Googled that, they would have figured that out because it has its own Wikipedia page.
Yeah, but this was going around before Wikipedia, so it was harder to find out, even on the web back then. Wikipedia came later.
That's true, because the website that we're talking about that had all these true crimes...
I'm talking about early internet.
It was like 95. Yeah. I think the website was started in 95.
That's way early.
So it was like it was a very early ARG, like unfiction type of thing. So I think that a lot of people who weren't necessarily internet savvy the way they are nowadays...
Yeah, no one was then.
Might have believed it, because like I said, they had documentation, they had official looking, they had names and dates and places, and it's like they had like official looking photos and official looking documents.
That was pre-Google. It was all AOL and stuff.
Yeah, because like I said, that's kind of the whole point of those types of games, or those types of, you know, what they call unfiction or super fiction or whatever they call it.
I just, I hate to fucking repeat myself on the show and everything, but, you know, when I do repeat myself, fucking the regulars fucking love it. But I've just have such a fucking happy memories of early internet. You know what I mean? Because it was like the Wild West. And there wasn't as much on the early internet back then. You remember it?
Yeah, but I didn't really like...
I really loved it. Message boards and stuff.
It was all right. It wasn't
I liked
that
it.
Exciting.
Oh, at the time I thought I was in the fucking future, man. I thought I was in a fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I thought I was in fucking Running Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ken said I need a refill.
Yeah,
I probably do actually.
She does. And I got to stir that pot.
You do actually. Yeah. But yeah, so he told me to look into this, and I thought it was kind of an interesting case, and it actually does have its own. At least that true crime website has its own Wikipedia page. And it kind of goes into, who started it, like when it was started. Like I said, I think it started in 1995. And the whole point of it, which, as I said, this is kind of like ahead of its time, I guess. The whole point of it was to like list true crime stories that were not real, but you wanted them to be like as real as possible. It was almost like a murder mystery that people could solve, but they weren't real cases. But I think that, nowadays in 2020... every time somebody posts a creepy video or like something that looks like a serial killer posted this or whatever, everyone is just being like fake. You know what I mean? It's like a game that you're trying to like, or, some kind of like viral, you're trying to make something go viral. But I think in the 90s, no one was really that hip to that idea. Like, I feel like that was kind of ahead of its time. So I don't really blame like the dudes in Slipknot for thinking that was a real case. I probably would have as well, especially in 1995. So what are you going to do? But yeah, I don't even know if that website is still going or not, but that was kind of like the whole point of it. It was kind of like, like the Reddit, like, creepypasta or No Sleep or something like that, where you're supposed to like write the story and you're supposed to make it seem like it really happened to you, even though it's fiction. But it's almost kind of like, you know, you're making like an agreement with like the reader that it's like, I'm going to pretend it's real. You're going to pretend it's real. We're all going to pretend it's real, even though everybody knows it's not real. But yeah, so another video I wanted to show, and this was another one that I just like thought to add, because this one like really freaks me out. This one is called My Sister. Now, actually, maybe I'll wait till Tom comes back because I want him to see this one. I looked a little bit. I think Nexpo did a kind of a breakdown of this one and like looked into, because like I said, if you really like ARGs and like really weird YouTube videos and shit, you should subscribe to Nightmind and Nexpo, which is Nightmare Expo, and because they do like really, really in-depth like breakdowns, and they do a really good job of like you know, researching the backgrounds of like where these videos came from and like who made them and shit like that. They're really, really thorough. So Nexpo did a video about this video, which is called My Sister. And this actually, I don't even remember when this one came about, because I remember I've seen it a couple times. Thank you. But I remember being really weirded out by this one. And so I was kind of curious, but he did a video about this one. Yeah, this one's just called My Sister. I think I turned the volume down on this one because it didn't have it. So it looks like this girl that's just, hey, I'm trying on some dresses. Hey, I'm trying on a wedding dress. And then like she kind of like comes over and she's like, hey, there's my face. Isn't it weird that my face is not really moving? That's a little unsettling, isn't it? And she like kind of makes this fucking face in the camera. And she's like doing all this kind of shit. And then I'm trying to remember like what happens. Yeah, so now she's in another outfit. And she comes over and she's got the same face on. And like it's still like this really face, like she's not blinking. Her face isn't really moving. But it looks like a real face, right? And like she keeps doing this kind of shit. This was just, like I said, this was posted just contextless. Just filming this, and now she's pregnant for some reason. And here she comes again with the same fucking face on. Smiling at the camera, very upset. There she goes again. And then she takes her fucking face off. And then it's a different chick. So she's doing that. The weird thing about this, so I'm watching the Nexpo video. This was posted, I can't remember the name of the channel. It was like some, what was it called? Radical Dog or Radiant Dog or something like that. It was this guy that was like this little chubby dude, and he had like it was mostly a gamer channel. Like he was always like posting shit about games. He was like kind of a troll type of character. So he posted this video. As far as I know, he was the original person who posted this. No one could really find like posting it. So, but it didn't really seem like anything else that he had posted. So nobody knew where this video came from, or you know what this was all about. Like this girl was just like looking at this shit and face. So he's like doing this investigation, and he figures out, as far as he could determine. And then look, and then she starts like stretching her like that face out.
What does she have?
That's what I'm saying. And it's like, and then it just like cuts off like that. And then there's like a little logo that's like a little
The video's
ghost.
too loud.
I thought I turned it down. I didn't, it doesn't even have any video
All right.
or any audio on it, I
Okay.
didn't think. But yeah,
The people are tripping.
I thought it didn't have any audio.
Okay.
But yeah, so this whole thing was like, I think what Nexpo came up with was that this dude that had this gaming channel was that he was trying to get attention for his gaming channel. So he made this video in the hopes that it would go viral, that it would bring other, because it didn't look anything like his regular. He just had like a regular like trolley gaming channel, like a lot of dudes that age have.
Yeah.
But it was just weird that this was the only video that he had on the channel that was like that. So all that he could come up with was maybe this dude just made this, but nobody could figure out why he made it or what was the deal with the faces. Like, why is it, these masks were like, they looked like a real face though.
So did they ever get down to the bottom of it?
No, that's all he could figure out was that this dude must have just made this to like draw attention to his channel.
Was that a dude or was that a woman?
No one knows.
With the mask.
No one knows. It looks like a woman.
Yeah.
But
like
you know
a
what I
woman
mean?
that had a mask over a mask is what it looked
That's
like.
what I mean. Well, yeah. Let me do it again because like.
Yeah, lower the volume.
I turned the audios all the way down. But yeah, so I mean, it looks like a woman, right? It's not like walking like a dude or anything.
Looks like a woman to me.
And I mean, when she
then
first
again,
comes
all
up,
these men look like women to me.
oh, for fuck's sake,
I
really?
just gotta talk shit.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like a real face.
Yeah.
But then when it gets really close, it kind of doesn't look like a real face.
Yeah, you know what it was? It was, hey, stop it, Pookie Pants. You stop that shit. You're making me talk crazy. Anyway, I guess with the low resolution video of the time, it's easier to get away with that.
Oh, this isn't horribly old. I mean, this video isn't that old.
Pookie, you're doing it again.
I just remember seeing it a few times and like, because you're not expecting her to take her fucking face off. You know what I'm saying? It's just
It's a mask with a fixed smile and and then there's another mask.
It's a good
underneath
mask
it.
though, because
good,
it looks like a real person.
Yeah.
I mean, until she gets real close, you don't really see anything all that creepy about it. It just looks like a regular face. And then she takes it off. But then, like...
So, hey, you know what? See, Alex is noticing. He says those hips are pretty narrow in relation to those shoulders.
Well, wait. Look at the hands and the neck, though.
That might be a guy.
It may be.
I think that's a guy. It's a skinny guy. That's what that is.
It's possible,
It's a skinny guy, I think. And he's got 2 girl masks on.
Yeah, because this end one is like, then he just starts like stretching it out.
And those hands...
Those could be dude hands. I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell.
I think it's a guy.
It's a weird fucking video is what I'm saying.
That's a dude.
Yeah, I turned the volume down this time because I didn't actually, when I watched it, I didn't think there was like really loud audio, but I just turned the audio all the way down.
Actually, Sophie said there was a loud electro-funk song playing over that.
That's really weird. I couldn't hear anything.
Wow.
We couldn't hear anything at this end.
Pepper's saying that walk is a dude's walk.
It could be.
That's a guy. It's a guy
could
with
be.
a wig. It's a skinny guy with a wig.
Well, that makes it weirder.
Yeah.
If anything.
He's going, would you fuck me? I'd fuck me.
Yeah. Because who the fuck would make that? That's so fucking weird. I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's a dude.
Check the Adam's apple.
Yeah.
Let me show this Japanese subway one. I forgot all about this one. I don't know a lot about the history of this one. Obviously, it's fake, but it's actually pretty good. I gotta turn the volume down. Because apparently, the volume is coming out like really loud on some shit and really quiet on other shit. Like for end users on YouTube, I'm not really sure why. It's not loud on my end. Like it's really quiet. I can barely hear it, but apparently, like a lot of people. So this video here, like there's a whole bunch of people in Japan, obviously, and they're like at this, party or whatever. And then I think at some point, like one of them looks over and they see this creepy chick, like with a big forehead or whatever. And she's like looking at them. And then like as time goes on, like creepy shit happens with this fucking chick. But, yeah, so this was kind of a good one. This was another one that came up a lot. I don't know what that dude is saying because it's all in Japanese. But you know what I'm saying? What are you looking at? Are you watching it?
Yeah, I'm watching it.
You watching it?
Yeah.
You seeing it?
I see it.
Nothing all that exciting is going on yet. This guy's just saying, I don't know what the fuck is going on, man.
He's in his suit and everything.
Yeah, Red Mage said... I think that my sister video source has already been solved. I vaguely remember reading it was from an ad for a Japanese company that makes silicone masks. I had read that as well, and that could possibly be. Like, it might just be some weird, like, viral marketing ad about those masks. Although, you would think that people would be able to find that out easier. Because if it was an ad, you'd think they'd want everybody knowing. See, so, like, everybody at the table's like, look at that weird chick over there. She's, like, sitting... over there and she's like super pale.
I remember this.
Yeah. It's like it gets better though because it's like they see her right in the restaurant and they're like, oh, that's really weird. Like she's just kind of sitting over there staring straight ahead, like with a big forehead or whatever. And then this guy's like, I don't know what he's saying because I don't speak Japanese, but he's just kind of like, what? It was like really weird. We were just out singing like at the karaoke bar or whatever the fuck they were, and then they look over there, and then that girl's like, look, she's still like fucking looking over here. I wish I could like fast forward on this like thing, but I don't think I can. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you see the thing
and
is,
she's still sitting, and then she like turns and looks at them.
on my tablet is way behind your image. There she is, that big old alien head.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh, okay, that was weird. And then they leave. And then I think later on, because they think they go to the subway station to go home. And I think then, like, some other creepy shit happens. The guy's like, I wonder what that was all about. Look at his hair. Yeah, we don't know what that was all about. I don't know why that one person is, like, blurred out and the other people are not. And then here's this guy again talking about it. Is Pookie still back there? Did she leave? She got bored?
She got bored.
So now they're on the subway platform. And now this guy is pointing and he's saying, I think he's saying, we saw the same woman. Whatever that says. If anybody can speak Japanese.
It says, we saw the same woman.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, I'm just like extrapolating because I saw this video before. Yeah. So I'm just like saying that that's probably what they said. So they're like, yeah. And then she's like standing. Yeah. She's like standing there and looking at them and she's waving. Check that shit out. And she's like waving at them. Hello. And she's got like really big weird eyes. Right. And then there she goes down on the track of the train. And then a train hits her. Right. Yeah. And they're like, what the fuck? And they're all like freaking out. Then he's going down like that. I'm like, oh my God. And look. Wait, where is she?
She's coming up.
She's coming up. She's right there.
Yeah. Yeah, that was shit that would trip you out back in the 90s. The 2000s, early 2000s. Now everyone is a little more jaded.
It's true.
More immune to imagery. We know
you know, because I'm a horror writer and I'm like really in horror movies. Look, you can see her under the train like laying down, which is I thought that was a pretty good. That was a nice touch.
Yeah.
But
I remember that one.
But everyone has seen everything. Like we've all seen found footage movies. We've all seen, and like I said, it's because I'm a horror writer and I've seen so many horror movies. It's like really, really hard to show me something that I haven't seen before, something that really bothers me. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't want to see real shit. That bothers me. Yeah. But anything that's fictional, anything that's like paranormal, none of that bothers me because it's like I imagine 99.9% of the time that's going to be fake, and so it doesn't scare me. But you know, I'm still looking for that shit though. I'm still looking for shit that's going to like freak me out. But yeah, there she was. She was like peeking up over the corner. You just couldn't see her. Like she was just kind of like, "Hey, what's up?" Ba-da-ba-ba. I liked that one. But yeah, so
it's funny. I look in the damn comment section and Sophie's the center of attention in the fucking comments.
I see that.
Damn, Sophie getting all kinds of fans.
See, that's what I mean. That's what we told you.
We told Sophie that Sophie needs her own channel. Mm-hmm. But she's too shy and I don't know. She doesn't want to start her own channel. But she needs to start her own channel. Probably. We could link the two channels together and be like a sister channel. Yeah. Sophie. You ought to do like reaction videos or something. Reaction to...
Man, people love those. Yeah. Seriously, when I was researching this show, do you know there are more reaction videos to scariest videos on YouTube than there are actual scariest videos on YouTube? Yeah. There are like people that are just like watching the videos and like reacting to them. Overreacting, I think. But you know, I don't know. I don't know your life. Right. So I'm just saying. But yeah, so
I'm gonna go to the restroom back in a second.
Okay.
I also gotta check the food.
Oh yeah, okay, that's a good idea. But yeah, I wanted to mention too, this was kind of creepy. I don't have the video of this because the video is not very exciting, but like the backstory is kind of interesting. So apparently there was this video that was posted and it was on a channel that was just called Lisa Home. And there was only one video on the channel, and the video was just of like a countdown, like just a countdown clock, like in the middle of the video, right? And I think, if I'm remembering it correctly, I think it was only 13 seconds or something like that, but it was like a countdown. And like I said, it was the only video like on this channel. Now, the weird thing about it though, was that in Sweden, this girl named Lisa Home, same as on the YouTube channel, went missing. And then she was found dead 13 days after the video was posted. So I don't know if like the video had anything. So that comes up a lot too, because somebody doesn't, like, they don't know if, like, the killer, like, or whoever kidnapped her or whatever, like, posted a video, like a countdown type of video, like when they, I don't know why anyone would do that, but I don't know. The YouTube is a weird place. I remember, like, being fascinated by, I don't know if, like, you guys remember this, but there was, like, a whole thing about this channel called, what the fuck was it called? WebDriver Torso. And there was, like, just all these fucking really weird, like, videos of, like, shapes and, like, weird audio and all this kind of shit. And people were like, what the fuck is that? Is it, like, some kind of code? Is it, like, some kind of whatever? And then they found out later on that it was actually owned by Google, I think. And they just used it as, like, a test channel, like, for testing, like, video and testing audio and testing various things. So kind of, like, all the mystery went out of it. But then later on, another channel called Unfavorable Semicircle also started that had kind of similar imagery, but seemed maybe not owned by Google, and maybe they were trying to do, like, some other weird shit with it. So it's like, I don't know if anyone's ever, like, figured that out. But like I said, I'm really into, and I've kind of gotten into it more in the last year or so. I've really gotten into the whole ARG thing, and I've really, like, been looking into, because I had seen, like, marble hornets and all that kind of stuff, but I've kind of gotten into a lot of the more recent ones. So I think one of the commenters mentioned earlier, there's a really good one called Local 58. There's not a lot of videos on it, but it's set up as though, sort of as though it's found footage of, like, a local news channel going back to 1970, but it's almost kind of like, I don't know if it's like an alien invasion or some kind of, like, monsters that live on the moon or something like that are, like, taking over humans, like, slowly, like, over the decades. But it's almost kind of like that. So it's like there's a really creepy, I mean, there's several videos on there, but there's one that's called Contingency that I think is, like, the creepiest one, because it's kind of like one of those old Cold War era TV, like, warnings, you know what I mean? Like, you would get, like, in the event of something, like, really bad happening. But this video is set up like that, and it's set up to look like that, but it's kind of telling people that, like, the US has been taken over by, like, a hostile force or a force we can't fight anymore. And it's like, it's basically implying it's like, it's all over and there's nothing we can do about it. So it's basically telling everyone to kill themselves, but it's like, it's really, really creepy. But, like, the videos are all different, but they're all kind of, like, part of the same narrative. So I would, like, if you like like, really creepy, like, ARG type web series, I would recommend that one. Also, there is one called Hi, I'm Mary Mary, which is about a girl who wakes up in a house which she thinks is her parents' house, but she can't really remember who she is or what her name is or anything. And so she's kind of, like, exploring this house, and it's really creepy. It was supposedly based on, like, some video game that never got released. That's good also. There's also one that I think is called, this one's kind of more like a video game, but it's called Concluse or something, something like that. It's kind of similar to Sad Satan, but it's a similar type of thing there. Also, there's a channel called Deeper, which some people have speculated is maybe a real serial killer. I don't know. I doubt it. But if you want to check it out, you can. There's a lot of really weird videos on there that kind of look like something a serial killer would post. And as far as, like, short films, like, that don't make any, like, claims to be real, or, like, these are actually just short horror films. Probably, I think, I mentioned No Through Road earlier, which is found footage, so a lot of people thought that was real, but then later it came out that it was actually, a fictional film. I think my favorite short fictional film that I've seen on YouTube that I've seen is Lights Out, which is actually kind of one of the more famous ones. I think it's only maybe 7 minutes long, but man, that last shot, so good. It's really, really good. Like, the monster they have in it is, like, really, really creepy looking. There's also one called The Bells, which is very good, that has, like, a really good monster. But there's like a lot of really good short horror fiction, and I would recommend everybody like check some of it out. But I really like Lights Out. Everybody's seen that one, I think, at this point. The Bells is also really good, but there's like a bunch of other ones too. So if anybody knows of any good ones, then recommend them to me, because I like to watch them also. So what else has Tom got to say?
I don't have anything to say. I was checking that pot, stirring it. It was looking good.
Yeah?
Just started to fucking simmer. Had it on there real low, you know? Try to get some more cooking time in on it.
Yeah.
It's that Mexican pulled pork filling.
I know.
For, you know,
you're making
tacos and stuff.
Hungry.
Yeah. You want one?
Yeah.
Okay, is the show over?
Well, I guess we can like kind of talk a little bit more,
Okay.
but you know.
Well, when the show's over, I'll feed you.
Mango says we all have to go off and make our own creepy videos for here. Everybody should. I mean, well, it's so...
If you guys can make
it's so cheap nowadays. Everybody can do it.
One of the things that I wanted is I wanted a new intro and outro song that sounded really cool and maybe had sound bites of us talking, saying fucking crazy shit. That'd probably be really fun. If you guys could come up with some intro and outro music.
Because, man, that would take a long time to, like, go through... Well, it would... To go through all of our back catalog and, like, all the crazy shit that you said over the years.
Probably be really cool if you were to make a song out of that or something.
That would be really funny.
Me talking and
you
Jane
could do,
talking,
like, a dead giveaway song.
Yeah, like
that one
something.
you love so much.
Yeah, just something like that.
Of you saying some, like, weird shit about someone's cocks or something.
Yeah, so if we, you know, we ought to do a contest. If somebody can come up with a good intro and outro song that uses our voices in it, for little sound bites and stuff, that we'll use it in the show if it's any good.
That's actually a pretty good idea.
Be a good idea, huh?
Yeah.
At least we could use it during the show, you know what I mean? I also want some fucking sound effects every now and then in the show.
Like
a laugh track. Yeah. That'd be fucking hilarious.
You know what? That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think I would like to have a laugh track.
Like a laugh track. You say something, you put a laugh track.
But the funny thing was that you could only use it when somebody made a lame
joke.
a
lame joke. Yeah, you put a laugh track.
If somebody said something actually funny,
no, then you don't need it. You don't need it.
But if somebody made a bad joke, then you can make
exactly. We're on the same vibe. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, because it would be ironic then.
Yeah, ironic
which would make
shit.
it funnier.
You had to have ironic shit and little fucking sound bites of like fucking Ed and Lorraine saying crazy shit every now and then. You fucking and where's that raccoon? You know.
Well, that's one we definitely do. That's one we haven't
we haven't mentioned the raccoon.
Do you know what's really funny? Like, I guess we got a new person. I think it was, I can't remember her name, but I think it was like a new viewer, a new subscriber that we had. And I guess she was watching one of our newer shows, and I guess we had made the "Where's that raccoon" joke, or somebody in the comments made it. And we repeated it and laughed about it. And she commented, it's like, what the hell is it about the raccoon?
Yeah.
So I had to go on and like explain.
You had to explain what the raccoon
like
was.
where the raccoon shit came from. Because I forgot that people haven't been with us like forever. Like you guys don't remember that. It had to do
with a series used to have on television called, back when they had television, back before cable collapsed, it was called A Haunting. And it was called The Haunting of Summer Wind was the episode, and they had a crazy motherfucker in there that killed the little girl's pet raccoon because they lost it. He goes, "Where's that raccoon? Where's that raccoon?" And when he found the raccoon, he killed it.
I mean, that actor just sold it. He sold it.
Yeah. So it's just, I want to know where that raccoon is. Where's that raccoon?
Well, that's why, I mean, we loved that episode so much just because all that, I mean, the kid actor in it was like Man Said I Could, the kid peeing in the closet. It was just gold.
We haven't watched those in a long time.
There was so much to mine from that episode.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It was old shit. That was from the early 2000s, wasn't it? I think it was, yeah.
I mean, that was what, season 2?
Maybe mid-2000s.
Season 3?
Like 2005
it was one of the ones, I think
something.
I bought you the first 6 seasons. Not all at the same time.
No.
Like, well, the first 4 seasons came in a box set.
Yeah.
So I got you that, and then I got you 5 and 6 like separately because I guess they don't sell.
They
them in
ended
box
up being
sets
where
anymore.
you couldn't get them on hard copy. You could only download them.
Well, like a lot of shit isn't really, especially TV shows that are not like
not real popular,
super popular.
Yeah.
And I feel like you can watch them like other places.
Yeah. We got to check on The Haunting and see how that's going. I still have an open invitation for the Haunting.
Is that shit's still on, right?
Should be. They said they.
Well, yeah, because you were supposed to be on there, like for that season. They offered
to do it, But they wanted to do interviews with fucking Lois and Red, and fucking Lois and Red were fucking...
They didn't want to
They
do
didn't
it.
really want to do it.
They were like paranoid.
They were kind of paranoid, and they were overly fucking paranoid. Oh, well, the family will fucking not really approve if we do it. And I'm like, fuck the family. They're not going to know about the shit because they were old people and they thought everybody watched TV. They don't watch TV anymore. There's
That
too many
kills me.
fucking
It's
channels.
like, do you really think
Nobody
that,
would
like,
ever know.
that your old relatives would find out what it...
Yeah, fuck what your old relatives
My old
think.
relatives don't watch this fucking show.
Yeah.
They don't know what the hell I'm doing.
And we're like, I don't know. They would think, oh, well,
Even if they did.
They would think that we were in league with the devil. Because you have to understand that side of that family, they were fucking... They weren't religious, but their family was a Quiverful family. My mom came from a Quiverful family. She had 9 sisters.
Like Quiverful TM?
Yeah,
Like the
like
real... Holy crap.
Yeah. And
Have as many babies as you can before your vagina like loosens up and you drop dead.
And that shit's got to be loose by fucking number 3 or 4 anyway, huh?
I would imagine.
Yeah, damn. But anyway, fucking my granddad...
I mean, there's some elastic in there, but, you know, it's going to give out after a while. You can't... Your vagina can't be a clown car. You know what I'm saying?
It's like a clown car. Whole bunch of clowns coming out, and you actually called it. That's the way that family is.
That's what I'm saying.
My mom's family is a bunch of clowns. You called
I didn't say that. You did.
You fucking called it.
I just said your vagina can't be a clown car.
You called it. That's
you gotta space that shit out,
called
man.
that shit, man. Fucking,
You gotta have it. Yeah, gotta
Second
give it
thought.
time to like snap back.
Yeah. Fucking. That side of the family was a trip. My granddad on that side of the family was fucking worked for JPL, Jet Propulsion Laboratory. He also worked for fucking Grumman Aerospace. He designed all kinds of shit on the Saturn V program. Fucking, he was right-hand man to the fucking Shah of Iran before the fucking Ayatollah took over, helping with his fucking build his Air Force, because my granddad did all the jet engine stuff for the fucking F-14 Tomcat. He was a fucking genius, aerospace engineer. But it was weird. He was half Syrian, and he was a Syrian Christian, and he and his brothers came out of an orphanage. It was just fucking some weird shit. I don't really understand how that happened. I don't know the whole story. But my granddad was just a fucking quiverful, fucking hardcore Christian, all right, fucking, and had like 9 kids. His other brother was my Uncle Ronnie, who was a fucking gangster. He was fucking cool as shit, all right? He fucking won California's largest jackpot and the lottery in the same month.
Oh, I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, fucking, he made like $5 million on the bat back in the 70s.
Man, why can't that happen to me?
You're not crooked enough.
I guess not.
He had friends in the gaming commission. He's dead, so I can say that now. Okay. Fucking jackpot.
I guess that helps.
Yeah. Fucking hitting slot machine jackpots and winning lottos back in those days fucking had a lot to do with how much kickback you'd pay back to people. And then my other uncle, their other brother, the third one, there was 3 of them, was my uncle. What was his name?
You didn't remember?
Yeah, no. Uncle Walton.
Oh, okay.
Uncle Walton was gay. And he wore a little beanie and fucking was a painter and saw himself as a great artiste. I remember him fucking...
I liked Walt already.
Yeah, Walton was like... remember on fucking Bewitched, fucking Dr. Bombay?
Yeah.
Walton was Dr. Bombay.
Okay, I got you.
That was my granddad.
All right, I'm feeling that.
That was my grandfather's brother.
That's cool.
Yeah. So they were all totally different. You know what I mean? Fucking, but it's just... So it was a freaky ass fucking family.
Just goes to show genetics aren't everything.
Yeah, genetics is a fucking hell of a game. But yeah, bringing back memories.
Yeah, Ilse was asking about quiverful, but somebody like where that phrase came from. Yeah, it's a biblical phrase. I can't. Yeah, Oracle said it was Psalm 127:3-5.
Your family is like a quiver full of arrows. You can fire off your fucking at the earth to fucking spread fucking the good faith.
Which just gave me a horrible mental picture of you putting like a little child like in a bow and going pa-ching, shooting him to the Chuck E. Cheese.
Demographic domination of the planet.
That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to.
It's a good philosophy. If you want your shit to fucking dominate, just have a bunch of kids.
Yeah, that's
that'll work.
That's their whole philosophy.
That'll work.
Have as many children as possible so you can like choke out other belief systems.
Yeah, and you know what? That's happening anyway because a lot of secular people are not reproducing at the rate. Somebody was saying that if you look at the numbers, fucking in 100 years, the United States will be Amish. Because
I don't think
because they're having a shit ton of kids, Amish and Mormon.
Yeah, but the thing about it though is that you can have as many kids as you want, but will all those kids
Have
be the
kids.
same?
Well, they have kids. All right.
Will all those children be as religious as you?
That's what I'm saying.
Doubtful.
It usually doesn't
So
work that way.
yeah, that's what I mean.
Those
so having
kids
a lot
don't
of
have
kids
the same amount of kids that you had. So
well, and they do not necessarily have the same religious beliefs that you have
Right.
either. So it's like that's really not a foolproof strategy, is
Right.
what I'm saying. And honestly, like religiosity in general has been going down and has been going down for decades, and I really don't see that changing.
well, it also depends on what you call a religion. The traditional religions are going away. Alternate religions are coming. Because political ideology is also a form of religion. But there have been many books that say it really starts off with legends, or hero worship, legends, religion, and then politics. That it kind of fucking goes into that. Or, excuse me, religion, philosophy, and politics. That kind of goes into that.
I don't.
It has evolved into that. Because philosophy and politics serve the same fucking what's the word I'm looking. It's kind of they kind of serve the same needs as religion does. The need for a moral compass, the need to believe in something. Used to be religion, then it was philosophy. Now it's politics.
Well, I don't feel the need to worship any heroes.
Worship and belief are very different.
So I don't get on that.
She likes to fight over this kind of shit.
I'm not fighting. I'm just saying.
Fucking
I don't have the need
Political.
for that.
No, it's just belief and moral compass.
I get what you're saying. You don't have to like.
Right, yeah. Politics does the same thing.
I know
in terms
that.
of moral compass that religion and philosophy
I know what you're talking
did.
about.
Right, that's all.
I'm just saying that I don't have that need. So but I get that other people.
Yeah, you do. You're moral.
Yeah, but I'm moral without any need for that.
For politics, I think so.
Or for any of that type of
I think so.
adhering to like particular beliefs or particular like in particular people.
Not as bad as some people, but everybody has it. Everybody has beliefs.
Yeah, I know that. I'm just saying I don't have like.
Yeah, I'm honest. I'm honest with myself. I just make up belief systems that serve me, and I believe in them.
Yeah, I know.
Because they're advantageous to me, and they help me win. Because for me, it's just about winning. I don't care if it's right or wrong. This is winning.
That's not good though.
Yeah, but it happens to be that most of the time, winning usually has a lot to do with politics. You know what I mean? So you tend to kind of do the right thing to win. In other words, to win, a lot of times you have to have friends. You know what I mean? There's a certain social thing involved in winning. But then, I'm like the ancient Romans, too. There's a mix. You know what I mean? You have to... I'm gonna take this shit back. I'm going to take this shit back to Count Dante. Okay? You have to be a master of both creation and destruction. You have to be yin and yang. You need sun and moon. You know what I'm talking about? You have to restore balance to the force. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You got to know what's appropriate. You can't be narrow-minded in anything. You know what I'm talking about? You need to see things in a broader spectrum. Which means sometimes you got to fuck shit up. Sometimes you can create or destroy. Depends on the situation. And yeah, you could get in trouble, but you get killed. You could get killed. But that's what life's about. We're not here to be
getting
here for
killed. That's what life's all about.
We all eventually die.
Ooh, that's another shirt.
Getting killed. That's what life's all about. You gonna die. You are eventually gonna die anyway. All right.
No, actually, George.
Most of y'all are gonna get eaten by bugs, which other people call it disease. It's little tiny things in you. It's like being eaten by bugs. Most of you will die because you get eaten by bugs.
George Carlin actually said that's the whole meaning of life, not dying.
I've never seen anybody gain mortality. Well, then life's meaningless because everyone dies.
Well, the thing about it though, and this is what we're getting like all existential, but that's okay though. It's the end of the show and we're like really drunk and we're like 3.5 hours in and it's Saturday night. It's fun. Yeah. But like, life is... Okay, from an outside perspective, life is meaningless. But in a way, to me, that's very liberating because that means that you could make your own meaning. Anything that you want to be important is important. You know what I mean? You have to make your own meaning. And that's cool to me. I don't want meaning imposed on me from outside or from like a higher power. I don't like that idea.
Got Michael out there saying the Force is fake, dude. No, the Force is not fake. The Force was not invented by George Lucas. George Lucas is borrowing that from Eastern philosophy. It's just yin and yang, is what he's yin force and yang force, which is what happens in creation and destruction. To create anything, you must destroy something else. Like, for instance, it's because energy is always converted from one thing to the next. To build a house, you have to cut down trees. So you're destroying trees to make a house. That's what they're talking about.
Well, if you're making a wooden house.
If you're making a wooden house. If you're making a stone house, you have to destroy boulders to make brick. Or you have to destroy sand to make brick. Everything is converted from one thing into another. The Eastern versions of those philosophies are very kind of archaic in the way that they're described and they're explained in a bunch of different stories, usually having to do with Siddhartha. Better way, if you want to do it, is you can go search the German philosophers. I would recommend, Schopenhauer, Arthur Schopenhauer, and then he explains how the essence of Buddhism is true. And then later on, Friedrich Nietzsche came out and said, yes, the essence of Buddhism is true, but there's a different aspect of it you can look at. If Buddhism is true, then that means you have nothing to lose. And if you have nothing to lose, then that means you might as well just go down fighting for what you want. Out of life, because you have nothing to lose in the end. You're going to die. And these are all as a part of the cycle. You can try to figure it out all you want. You can try to think your way out of it. You can watch Conan 1, John Milius. That's what it's about. Milius knew all about that. He wrote about it. They even made a movie about him. What was it? The Big Lebowski was based upon Milius. But there's a certain universal truths in Eastern philosophy. But okay, I'm done. We gotta eat. We gotta eat. That's more important than talking to these people.
Is it?
Let's see what's going on with these people. Let's see.
I'm just saying, it's like, I don't know. I guess I have big, philosophical thoughts and stuff, but I think I, came to the conclusion a long time ago that because I do not believe there is any kind of higher power, anyone that's, watching out for us, I was kind of like, well, you have to make your own meaning. You have to make your own happiness in life. And, I feel like from some religious people's standpoint, they kind of point to atheists like myself, and they'll say well, you don't believe in anything, so that means that you can just fuck over other people. But it's I don't want to do that. I don't feel any need to believe in any higher power to prevent me from doing that. I just wouldn't do that because you're a person, I am a person. I wouldn't want to be fucked over. I don't want to fuck you over. So I'm not going to do that because I just think that's a bad thing to do.
Well, when you're looking at things from a Christian perspective, you have first of all, the argument that there is a higher power. And that's not really what Eastern philosophy and what I believe. I don't. Well,
that's what I'm saying. I'd be more into I don't.
There is no higher power. We are enveloped within the only power, which is existence and all the rules of existence. And it's in one of the main things about existence is will, and Nietzsche gets involved in that, what will is, and Nietzsche's interpretation of what will is not necessarily kind of what your average man. Will is just wanting to do something. That's not really what the will is. The will is the force, and it's like the dark side of the force and the light side of the force kind of combined. There is no division between the light side and the dark side of the force. It's just will. And some people have more will than others. Some people can navigate through will. And there's also the will of the universe. It's more like, it's more like the main condition of life is that everything imposes on something else. Animals eat other animals, and then animals eat plants, and plants compete with one another for life and nutrients and try to choke each other out. even inanimate objects try to over other inanimate objects by occupying space that one inanimate object could occupy and denies the occupation of the other inanimate object. Everything imposes on something else. So therefore, to exist is to be an asshole because you are imposing. The only way not to impose is to die.
Or,
okay?
well, you
to
could
not
try
exist.
to be...
not exist.
I kind of interpret that as,
So-
like, just be as less of an asshole as you possibly
Then
can.
you start going into fucking Schopenhauer and you start going into kind of the effeminate interpretation of it, kind of like Siddhartha, where you just sit there and other people feed you and they feed you fucking plants and then you say, fuck it, I'm taking too much from the world, I must withdraw from the world because I'm imposing, stop feeding me, and then you starve to death, and as you're starving you're like, fuck all y'all motherfuckers, I can't be a bitch ass motherfucker and fuck over these plants, I gotta die, the plants are more expensive, they're more valuable than me. See, you start going down that path, and then that's when Nietzsche steps in and other people would step in and go, oh, no, you're overreacting. You're overreacting. Go ahead and eat the animals, eat the plants. Go ahead and do what you got to do. Create great things. You're going to die anyway. Those plants would have died anyway. The animals would have died anyway. It's all temporary. To exist is to impose on other things.
It
You're
is,
fucking
but...
you're moralizing the imposition on other things when you shouldn't. You know what I'm talking about? Just because you impose, you're trying to put a moral value, you're trying to put a moral fucking label on it. Don't worry about it. Everything is imposing.
Well, I'm not saying you shouldn't worry about it. I'm just saying that you should try to minimize how much you're imposing on other people.
Or you could just be a total asshole and maximize how much you impose.
Yeah, but I'm not going to.
And then you're like, fuck all y'all. You're all gonna be. You're not gonna be here long anyway. So I'm just gonna take what I want.
And then everyone will kill you.
Well, they might. But the thing is that you don't get the badge to fuck over other people until you're willing to be fucked over by them. You cannot fucking get into this in solipsism where you think that you're not, you know what I mean, that you're immune. You can't be like that.
I think that's the main problem with people who are assholes, like you were talking about. Is that people
they don't realize that what comes around goes around.
People that are assholes tend to like, well, I can be an asshole to everyone I want to, but if someone else be's an asshole to them, is like an asshole to them, then they get butthurt about it. And I don't
great
understand that.
Philosophers and warriors of the ages.
You got to take it. If you dish it out, you got to take it.
The great warriors and philosophers of the ages have warned against that kind of thinking. They say, for instance, what was his name? The guy with Musashi. Musashi says you can't go out there and fucking with a sword and go kill people. You can't do that. You can't do that unless you're willing to die. You know what I mean? If you're willing to die, then you can do it. But mark my words, you will eventually die.
Well, because other people
will eventually kill you.
Have consciousness also
because they will fight you, and
they're not just going to let you run roughshod.
If you find one enemy and fight him many times, your enemies will multiply. So you have to be prepared for that. Okay.
And don't whine about it.
No, don't whine about it. As a matter of fact, Musashi said that you cannot hand out death to others until you've reached a point to where you can accept death when it's handed out to you without complaint.
Well, that would be nice if people would actually get to that point,
right.
But I don't really know.
What he's talking about later on came about in World War II with the kamikazes. In other words, you can't fight or engage in warfare until you realize that you're going to die, and because you're conducting warfare, and therefore you must assume a kamikaze mentality. You know what I mean? You can't go out there and kill people and think that you're not going to be killed.
Well, like I said,
you're going to be killed.
Accept it.
Right.
Well, but like I said, that's kind of a dangerous mindset to have too, because it's like, let's say you have a hypothetical, maybe not even hypothetical, so I'm sure there's more than one that's thought like this. Let's say you have a serial killer that justifies his behavior. It's like, well, I can go out and kill all these people I want because if I get killed, it's okay. But he doesn't because he doesn't get caught.
But they do that anyway, no matter what you think of it.
That's true.
I think it's wrong. All right? But dudes like me would kill him if you can get a hands on him. But that's just the way nature is. You know what I mean? You can't look at it in terms of legalistic terms. You know what I mean? They're doing that anyway. You can't prevent it.
Well, I'm not talking about it in legalistic terms.
Right.
I'm talking about it in fucking...
They go out and do that shit, they're evil. They go out and do that shit. And eventually they get caught and they get killed. Now, they'll kill more people. Some of them kill 20, 30 people. You kill that one dude. Is that vengeance? No, not really, because he's still up on you by 20 bodies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you don't know how many he would have killed
if you didn't stop. Yeah,
if you
don't know
stop
how.
him.
He would have killed more if you didn't stop him.
That's what I'm
saying.
saying.
So you had to stop him. But the concept...
Some people do have to be stopped.
A lot of people have to be stopped. And then the concept of fairness and this and that, these are human concepts. That doesn't exist in reality.
Although, like I said, you
can't... are stopping it because you think it's unfair, so you stop it, and therefore your will becomes
But like I said,
manifest.
you can't get too much of the naturalistic fallacy, like, oh, this is the way it is in nature, so this is how it has to be. But that's because that's not necessarily the case.
Well, animals do this. Animals go out and do fucking weird shit, and another animal will kill them.
Doesn't necessarily mean that we should do that.
No, you shouldn't do it, but you have things that are wrong.
Sure.
That's all I'm saying. If you have a chimpanzee that's malfunctioning and it goes out and fucking bites another chimp's nuts off and then fucking starts killing the chimp females and shit, he does it. But eventually the other chimps might kill it. And you know what I mean? It just happens. It's been happening throughout
like
the
I
history
said, you
of
get
animals.
to a point where that person's continued existence is detrimental to the population as a whole.
Yeah, but it's also similar to a Tyrannosaurus Rex running around eating shit. The only difference is that this chimpanzee's killed its own kind. But in the big picture, it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Fucking because all those.
But in the big picture, nothing really matters.
There you go. That's another thing that you can kind of grab.
But like
hold
I
of.
said,
only things that are
meaning
real,
is what we make of it.
Right. The only thing that's real are things that are always real, things that are permanent. And when you look at the fucking universe, because most things in the universe are a temporary status. You know what I mean?
Right.
Things are temporary. Everything is kind of temporary.
That doesn't mean that you can just do whatever you want, or you can like fucking do whatever you want to other people. You can just, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it doesn't mean that.
You
I mean, it does, but there are consequences.
They do it. There's consequences.
But there are consequences.
It's called solipsism. You cannot fall into the fucking... You cannot fall prey to solipsism. And that is... That's a mode of thinking where you think only you matter and that no one else's will be applied on you. No, there's going to be retribution. You go out and do that shit, eventually they're going to get you.
Well, solipsism is even more, internal than that. It's kind of like you think nobody else... Like
no one else exists.
Well, basically everyone else is an NPC.
Yeah, exactly.
But
the thing is a lot of people are like that.
I know.
And most of these serial killers are like that. They think everyone else is an NCP. And then when it comes their time to die, a lot of them fucking beg. Oh, no, don't send me to prison.
Because they think they're fucking special.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, right.
No one's special.
No.
None of us are special.
Yeah. Let's see what everybody's saying.
None of us are special, but we're all special.
Yeah.
Well, we're all special in the way that we're all unique because nobody is the same as anyone else because all our genetics are different. So that's cool. Like, everyone's unique. But like I said, no one is special in the sense that anyone is better than anyone else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Other than, how their actions impact the rest of the world. Because obviously... when you've grown up and you've done some like fucking, like serial killers, I would argue that they're less valuable than the rest of us because they're not really giving us any value, are they? So maybe they should be taken out. But like I said,
all I'm trying to say, I'm fucking going to go ahead and agree with Mango Badger on this, is that sometimes you got to put a banana in a tailpipe.
It's true. Sometimes
you got to put a banana in a tailpipe.
It's all good.
Even Sophie knows what that is. I showed her.
Oh yeah, that was one of the movies that she was here for 2 weeks, and I think all they did was just watch. How many movies did you guys watch?
Probably about 20 of them, and they were like educational movies from the past.
He was showing her all the movies because she's a lot younger than us.
She's about 10 years younger than us, I think. No, about 20.
No, 20 years.
Like 20. No, she could be like our child or some shit like that.
She could be, yeah.
And so I had to give her like the movies that could give her context to a lot of the shit that fucking we talk about.
Well, because the thing too is that
the classic movies.
Well, I feel like a lot of people, like even younger people, they know like all the memes and the references, but they've never actually watched the movie.
Yeah.
So it's like it's always better like when you watch the shit.
And everyone's gonna agree. All these other channels that are way into fucking entertainment, like Midnight's Edge and fucking Comics Artist Pro Secrets and all the fucking Ethan Van Sciver who's doing that. They're going to tell you that Yeah, there's been good movies made recently. There's some movies I fucking love.
There's shit tons of good new ones. There's always good. There's good movies in every era.
Yeah, but the golden era was the fucking 80s, man. The 80s, the 90s, and the 70s. That era, man, really.
90s.
Yeah, not so much. But that era of the golden age, it was like there were a lot of firsts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of firsts and a lot of innovation. And you had really good low-budget movies that had a long reach. One of them being fucking Beverly Hills Cop. Man, I fucking loved Axel Foley. I loved Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2, not so much 3. 4 is coming on the back of fucking
I heard about
Dolomite.
That. Yeah.
And I can't wait to see that.
Man, I loved My Name.
Dolomite was really good.
That was a good movie.
So if you got to see Dolomite is my name.
Yeah.
You'll love that movie. That's
also, I should tell you, because Sophie is also a big fan of MST. Like she said, her family was like really into it. The best thing, well, among the many like awesome things about MST, is that sometimes, like, I understand probably about 95% of the references on there because I'm a nerd and, like, you know, I'm about the same age as them or only a little bit younger. But the best thing is that watching like an old movie, like from the 70s or 80s, like, or even 60s, and catching a reference from that movie that they made a joke about on MST and you didn't get it before that, but then you saw that movie and you're like, that's what they were talking about. And you can like do that like forever because they made so many jokes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So if you like seeing like older movies is just like worth it if you're into MST because you will get all the jokes immediately. So I'm just saying.
Yeah. See what everybody's saying. Book of the Five Rings, yeah.
What was that movie with an alien chick that was nude the complete time? Life Force.
Life Force, good movie.
She was a space vampire.
Yeah.
We did a review on that a while back.
Good movie.
What was her name?
She didn't speak English. She was an Eastern European chick.
Yeah.
And she was like a model, real good looking girl. She didn't speak any English. That's why she didn't have me speaking lines. But that was a good British movie. It was like mid-budget.
Yeah.
It looked like a tentpole flick, and it kind of was for
Toby
the time.
Hooper directed that. Same guy that did Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
A lot of kind of Spielbergian in a way. Large scope. It didn't come out exactly the way they wanted it to come out. The poster wasn't the poster that they wanted. There was a bunch of shit that they wanted that kind of got cut
Matilda
out.
May, thank you. I knew it was something.
Yeah,
I couldn't remember.
She was gorgeous. Gorgeous girl.
Yeah, she's a beautiful girl.
And
naked the whole movie.
Yeah, and worth seeing. Another one that was kind of came out that was kind of like that was Species 1. Species was good too. Kind of like
that.
I
think what's her fucking name? Henstridge was her last name.
Yeah, similar in a way. It was kind of like Alien, but with a hot chick that was trying to.
Well, wasn't she? Yeah, she was trying to get pregnant.
Get pregnant, and then make
She was
monsters.
trying to seed herself with human male sperm.
And she was like this gorgeous girl that fucking went from like
Natasha
a baby.
Henstridge.
Yeah, she went from like a baby to like a fucking hottie in her 20s in a few days. She grew up real quick. She was trying to get pregnant to fucking bring some fucking monsters. I don't remember all the details. I have to see it again, but I
just remember her going around trying to
get pregnant.
Earthmen.
Yeah, and Giger made some of the costumes like it was like something out of Alien. Pretty neat.
I remember that being a good movie. They made like a bunch of sequels to that, but I don't think the sequels were
that era. They were making pretty good movies. You look at it now, they're not really impressive in terms of special effects because there was no CG. But there's something kind of charming about them now when I look at them. And the editing and the storytelling was better. A lot of that stuff could be rebooted. But I'm not sure modern Hollywood, as fucked up as they are, I'm not sure they could really do it.
There's only some things, like, I'm only a fan of, like, rebooting if the movie was, like, a good idea but not really executed all that well to start with. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
I'm generally a fan of, like, just doing your own.
Away.
Even if you do something that's kind of like an homage to that, but do kind of your own story.
Well, they want to redo, or they wanted to. This is about 2 or 3 years now has gone by now, so maybe it won't happen. But they wanted to redo Escape from New York.
See, I'm not a fan of that.
And Escape from New York, really, when you look at it, wasn't really well done. All right, it was in its time, it was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, but
you go back and you watch it today, it leaves some to be desired. Of course, Russell's fucking awesome in it. It's got Lee Van Cleef. It's time to... If
Adrian
you
Barbeau.
redo... It had good effects for practical effects, kind of. You know what I mean? They were kind of convincing for the time. The models and the... But it didn't have enough action in it. That was the problem. It wasn't quite an action movie.
So the plot of Escape from New York is generic enough that you could make another movie that was like that, but not a remake of that. That's what I'm saying.
I would like to see a remake with a new Snake Plissken, Escape from New York. The time frame changed. CG. Homages to the original. More action, more danger. R-rated. You know, a lot more violence. I think it would be awesome. With the Snake Plissken moniker. I think it was with...
I guess.
And
although,
updated
I don't know.
and just
Like,
really
I'm always
fucking
kind
badass.
of like... I don't know. I remember saying that, like, you remember, like, in 2018 when they remade, quote-unquote, Suspiria. And Suspiria was one of the movies that I'm like, no one should ever fucking remake this because it was a very specific time period, a very specific visual style. It was a very it's like, why would you remake it? It's like, if you made it too different, it wouldn't even be that movie. If you made it too much the same, why bother? But when I saw the remake, I liked that they kind of took the same story, but they went in a completely different direction with it. And I thought that was kind of cool, even though I don't know if I would call it a remake exactly, because it wasn't really, it was the same story, I guess, but I don't know. So much of Suspiria is tied up with the look of it and, like, you know, the set pieces of, like, the murder, and it's like that much was different. So it's like, I don't know if I would even call that a remake, but that was one thing where I really didn't want it remade, but when it got remade, I was like, okay, well, you did a good job. Okay, so, but you did a different thing with it. So I feel like the same thing is in effect with John Carpenter's early movies. Escape from New York is so iconic, and there are so many things about it, even though the story is not really that original, because there were a lot of movies like that, like post-apocalyptic kind of society's falling apart kind of shit, like being made at that time. So I feel like you could do something like that was like an homage to it without necessarily being a remake. You know what I'm saying? You could get the spirit of it without being a direct remake.
Maybe. They're also talking about doing a Silver Shamrock movie. I brought that up. I said that before already. So, yeah,
see, I would like to see that, actually. Has
So,
anyone done a graphic novel? I feel like somebody should have done a graphic novel by this
I was
point.
talking about it on another show, and I think I think it's Ken that said that. Was that Ken? I can't see. I think it was Ken. Yeah. He said we need a Silver Shamrock movie. I was talking about that fucking several months back on another show. Halloween 3.
Because that seems like a deep backstory that you could really, like, get some, like, fucking... You could get some meat out of that.
That should have never been a Halloween movie. I know why it happened. It worked for me.
We know
That was
why.
the first Halloween movie I saw. I'd reboot that bitch as Silver Shamrock. And fucking... That, really, you could add a few twists on that, and if you had the right people on the project, you'd probably make a cool fucking flick with that. And I bet you a lot of people would come out and see that.
Well, I love the idea, because they don't really make a lot of Halloween-themed movies that kind of go into the Celtic roots of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I could probably count on one hand, maybe two hands, like, how many movies there are about that. So I feel like that's a lot of, like, unmined potential.
You could go the Midsummer fucking direction with all the fucking, you know.
See?
You could go that way.
That.
With,
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. With some fucking shout outs to fucking Carpenter and the old one and the masks. It fucking crushes your head. Bugs come out. Fucking snakes.
Yeah, because I like that idea.
Yeah. There's all kinds of stuff that can happen.
Also, kill the children in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, I like...
kill the children.
I like that, like, killing the
And
children.
they have to be sacrifices.
Be ballsy.
Sacrifices. Yeah. Look, we should go because I smell that meat cooking.
I know we've been going almost 4 hours.
It's about
Holy
4
crap!
hours.
And
It's
I
time to
kind
shut
of
it down.
I have to go to the bathroom. I mean, this is my third drink. Holy crap!
All
I can't believe. Am I still coherent?
You're coherent. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah. We're doing good.
That's good. That works for me.
Go ahead and like the show, people. We got 58 people on
Yeah,
board.
give
Go
us
ahead.
thumbs up, everything like that. You know,
Please like the show before we check out.
like, share, subscribe.
Yeah.
Like you do. But yeah, Pookie says, "Feed me, not eat me." I would never eat Pookie. Come on now.
And Sophie's in there talking. Yeah.
Yeah, she said this is definitely the end of the episode free for all.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mango. Thank you. Flashbulb for Tom to keep his shirt on.
Flashbulb, where's that? Yeah, I'll keep it on. I'm gonna keep that shit on.
Ooh.
Hold on.
Shade.
Hold on.
Shade.
I'm gonna open that shit.
Oh, no.
No.
Oh,
Just
my
fucking with you.
goodness.
Just fucking with you.
That was quite a tease.
Thank you very
wasn't
much,
it?
Mango. That wasn't for you, Mango, anyway. That's for the girls. That was for the girls.
That was for the girls.
Okay.
Girls are like, okay.
Yeah, they're like, nah, turn that shit off. Zach fucking all over goes, yeah, whip it out, dude. Whip it out.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
All right. So,
See you guys tomorrow.
yeah, we'll be on tomorrow at 3 p.m. EST. Probably talking about, well, we might talk about a movie if we're sober enough to watch one.
Yeah.
What is it? It's only 8:45. We could
Yeah,
probably.
it's still
I think
pretty early.
Netflix added a new horror movie. We probably have to watch it if I can remember.
Jan's going, this is a family show. No, this is not a family show. Where'd you get that fucking idea?
He's joking, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Then they're saying leave the Hobbit
she's
alone.
joking. Leave.
See how it's going.
All right.
See how it is.
We're going to go eat some
Yeah,
pork
I gotta
tacos or
get stuff
something
together.
like
I
that.
gotta get stuff
So
together.
remember, like, share, subscribe. Remember to go to our Patreon page if you're not a patron already. Remember, you have until tomorrow at noon to vote on next week's movie and next week's topic. If you want to do that, I haven't even looked, so I have no idea what the next movie and topic is going to be. So you'll find out the same time as me. But thanks everybody for dropping by. Thanks everybody that commented and contributed and everything like that. And we will see you tomorrow. Bye.